quickly burp. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the. Oh, where am I? Where's the? I think that's the camera. Hello. Thanks for popping in. I've seen there's a few here already, which is fantastic. And Zap was here ages ago. So hi, Zap. Good to see you, mate. And yeah, I thought it'd be really nice to have this sort of pub image to as a thumbnail, because that's what I think is a really cool idea, just to kind of catch up with people, just have a little chat, and obviously catch up with you guys as well. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. This is gonna be good. So Scott's here.
Hello.
And we've got a few others coming in as well. So we'll see as they come in. I won't necessarily say all of them in case they don't make it, but there's lots of people coming in, which is great. I'm a little bit worried there might be too many people and I won't be able to fit them all in. But but that's one of them. So Celeste, if you wanna jump on, that's so Celeste is here, which is cool. But yeah, we'll start by talking about what we're reading, and then we can sort of go on from there, I guess. Oh, actually, before we do that, I found out. Well, how did I find this out? I was just looking at my previous lives, and this is actually pretty much the same time last year that I did my first ever live stream.
Oh wow!
So that's pretty cool. Yeah, so I did a live stream. It was the first ever one I did, and it was because I had 500 subs.
I was there. And, I remember that night.
Yeah, Sean D. Standfast did it with me, didn't he? And
yes, he did.
And that was a real adventure, because there was I'm pretty sure that was the one with the strange roller coaster fan that kept making comments about roller coasters. Nope. And I didn't expect people to just be random on a live stream, so that was a bit weird. But it was really good, and it was a good couple of hours. I think it was 2.5 hours. So that was really cool. And it was also last year we were doing New Worlds November, weren't we, Scott?
Yeah, that's right. New Worlds November was just wrapping up last year at this time, and it turned out to be a big success. Like it was a lot bigger than the year before, and yeah, it worked out really well. Maybe we can do that again next November. I would
That'd
really
be awesome.
I would really like to.
Well, you and Becky are so good at coming up with book events. You know, there's like 3 sort of classics, and oh, Celeste says she hasn't got a link. Hold on. Aaron read a book. Aaron, I've got to have you on at some point. You're gonna have to send me an email or something so I know how to get hold of you, because there's a few people I've wanted to invite on a stream and I don't know how to get in touch with them. So I'm pretty sure I looked on your YouTube channel, Aaron, and I couldn't see an email address. So if that's bollocks, I apologize. I think I did, but I'd love to have you on at some point. But I need to just make sure. So how have you been then, Scott?
I've been doing great. Getting quite a bit of reading in. The last week has been a little slower on the reading because of Thanksgiving and the holiday here and all that. But yeah, everything else has been going great. Work has been busy, which is a good thing because I work with the family business. So we always want that to be busy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been going great.
So what family business is it?
We have a business where we help parents navigate. Well, actually, we do the paperwork to get children government help, like children who children who need medical care or therapies. Children who have special needs children. We actually help them to get government help. We fill out all the paperwork and all of that. And sorry, the dog just ran into the door. That's the reason I looked over. But, yeah.
I think we might get her some Rosie. She's very into being in videos at the minute, so she might appear.
Okay.
But that's really good. That's a great job. I mean, that's a very important job you're doing. So
yeah,
that's brilliant.
We've now helped about 1,700 families over the last 15 years. So
wow, that's fantastic. Hi, Dave. How you doing?
Hey guys, sorry. Let me turn my light on here. I'll be right back.
Very moody.
If I
It's
didn't
like
have my
noir.
lamp, it would be dark in here.
Yeah, I went but after that first one that I did, I realised that I needed something to help with my ones, and so I got a ring light that arguably too bright, but there we are. What can you do? How are you doing, Dave?
Pretty good. Wow, I don't know
Yeah,
what's going on
book
there.
haul, that book haul Dave did yesterday was massive, and it was epic.
Oh,
What was
my
that?
God, man. I almost
The book haul. Yeah.
I almost hurt myself with that one.
67 books, I think.
Well, you know,
Was that all?
sorry,
Was that
what?
all from the fair? All those 67 books were from the fair.
That's all from the fair. I mean, that fair is like, I don't know if I told you about it before, but that fair is crazy. I think it's like the biggest one in New England. If not, it's one of the biggest ones in New England. They have it the end of July every year, and it's massive. Like you've never seen so many books, and you kind of have to decide what you're really like. I mean, I'm there all day, but you really have to decide what you're really focused on that year so that you can rush to like that section first before the stuff is gone, because it's like it happens over a sequence of days, and you have to go on like you have to go on like Friday morning, and if you like, because a lot of there'll still be tons of books there on Saturday, but it gradually, like the price decrease. They have this like specific pricing scheme depending on whether it's mass market or paperback or hardcovers, or and so that pricing scheme changes each day, and it gets cheaper and cheaper, and so gradually stuff starts to disappear over time. But if you go like Friday morning, it's like incredible, but you have to know what your focus is for Friday morning before you start your general browsing, So
Yeah, I suppose you can't just wait for the cheap ones because they might go in the first day anyway, might they? Yeah.
Yeah. So this year I focused on the sci-fi horror section. I went straight there, and so that's why I ended up with like so many of those like paperbacks, because that's what I targeted first.
Yeah. I've got a few CJ Cherry ones myself, but I don't know if I've got the same ones you've got. I can't remember, but I've got some CJ Cherry ones.
I read one like decades ago, and I don't know what I was doing. Like, I don't even remember the book that well, but it was called Exile's Gate. And it's like fourth in the series. I guess I just, as a kid, I saw it in the bookstore, thought it looked cool, and I read. And I didn't know, like, until recently, like that I had that book. I read that book without ever realizing that it was like the fourth in the series. That's how sophisticated of a reader I am at 18, right, or whatever it was.
Yeah, I've got one of her books chosen to read it for January. It's called Foreigner. It's the first book of the Foreigner series.
Yeah, I actually may or may not have a copy of that. I'm not sure. The piles are so numerous at this point. There are books I don't actually even know if I have them or not. Oh, hey, Celeste.
Hello, how's it going?
Hey,
Hi,
Mike.
Celeste. Hi, Mike.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey.
How's it going?
Awesome. So Scott's told us about. Actually, no, you haven't yet, have you? We talked about New Worlds November, and then we talked about the fact that this is an anniversary kind of thing of the first ever live stream I did, which is quite cool. But yeah, we haven't actually talked about what we're reading, so we could talk about. Everyone could go around talking about what we've been reading, couldn't we, for a minute? Especially as mine's really weird. But and then when MJ comes on, she's reading the same thing. And if like Scott's already talked about this, but if the three of you guys could also say how you are and how your day's been, that'd be cool. So I'll quickly go first. So I'm reading David Cronenberg's book Consumed. It's very kinky. It's a very naughty book.
It's so good.
So yeah, it's probably the rudest book I've read for a while. Are you reading that, Celeste?
Yeah, I'm on chapter, I think 3 or 4 now.
Okay, yeah, so I'm just behind you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good though.
Yeah, it's good.
It's already done.
No, I do. I'm a big fan of Cronenberg. So yeah, let's start with you, Celeste. So how's your day been, and what else are you reading if you're not just reading that?
My day has been pretty good. Honestly, I slept all day because I'm kind of sick. You can probably hear it in my voice. But yeah, I pretty much caught up on sleep and getting ready for school next week. And I was planning on reading Cronenberg this weekend too, but I guess I kind of slept through that.
Yeah,
But,
sometimes it's hard when you're ill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have any plans yet for what I'm gonna read next though. I don't know about you.
Yeah, we've got a few days left of non-fiction November. I was going to try and squeeze a couple of non-fiction things in, but yeah. What about you, Mike?
Well, I'm not reading Cronenberg, unfortunately, and now I'm jealous. But I'm reading this. This is The City of Marble and Blood by Howard Andrew Jones, which is a sword and sorcery book, and it's new. Unlike everything else that I ever read in my life, it's actually a new book because he sent it to me. Otherwise, I wouldn't have it. But yeah, it's part 2 in a series. The first was Lord of a Shattered Land, and it's good. It's good sword and sorcery stuff. I like it an awful lot. It's good.
Did you read the first one?
Yeah, I read the first one, and I have a review of it up there and everything on my dumb channel.
Cool.
Awesome. And how are you in general today? You all good?
In general, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah.
Awesome. Dave?
Yeah, I'm just going to disconnect my camera real quick. Are you guys all seeing this wave, right? This wave?
Yeah. I thought
It's
maybe
not
you got like a ceiling fan. Yeah. It was like a detective thing going on.
I don't know what that is. Let me just try disconnecting and reconnecting.
I didn't realize that Dave was a PI.
I know. I like that look.
I'll tell you what, I'm glad we haven't got that echo that we had last time. That was horrific.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, let's get some good comments while we wait for Dave to come back. So we had a few highs from Zap. Zap's always first in. So he said hi, and he's ordered a pint of lager. I thought it'd be really nice to have that thumbnail of the pub. You know, it's not my pub; it's a random pub. I haven't got a pub. And then Aaron said about because there was a guy. If you saw that first one I did, there was a guy just like kept asking questions about roller coasters, and it was just really weird. And it was my first experience where it was just effectively a spammer just talking nonsense on a live stream. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, Aaron just said that.
And what's funny is you could tell it wasn't a bot because he was answering questions.
Yeah.
Did you
He was
learn
just-
a lot about roller coasters at least?
If I could retain any information ever, then yeah, I would have done. That's the thing about non-fiction November. It's like I've forgotten everything I read because I can't retain information anymore. Zap says that was a nice haul, Dave. So Dave's gone, so you won't see that. Oops.
Yeah, that was a nice.
There we go. So do you guys know this one in Coney Island?
I've never been to Coney Island.
I've never been to Coney Island either.
Oh, there we go. Well, clearly we've all got to go. Road trip.
Let's all go.
Road trip. I've been to Coney Island in the wintertime, so it wasn't much to see, but
I think they make kick-ass hot dogs.
Like a ghost town. Yeah, because obviously we've got. I live on the seafront. We've got two fun fairs, if you like. We've got one big one, and then one that's like an arcade thing. And the big one, when you go down there in the winter, it is like. Does anyone use this? You know, it's like such a different atmosphere. Yeah. Fred's here. Hi, Fred.
Hey, Fred.
hey, Fred.
Fred?
Fred's going to ask us some great questions, isn't he? He always asks some great questions.
Yeah.
You know, so you don't let us down, Fred. Yeah. Gola's here.
Hello.
And then it's the open blinds behind you, Dave.
Oh yeah, you're backlit, I think.
Yeah. Well, looks like Mike's gone as well. I'm just going to keep an eye on the on the guest list in case I need to bring someone in, and I'm like kind of ignoring them forever.
Here, I can
So yeah, go on. Say again.
I can show you real quick this. I think I've asked you if you've read this or not. It's Dragon's Egg. I got it on my note here, but Dragon's Egg by Robert L. Forward. This is one of the strangest books I have ever read. I'm only like 40% of the way through, but what I love about a lot of science fiction, and Mike, I was going to ask you, read this, Dragon's Egg by Robert L. Forward. Have you read that? Michael?
No. I've not read that.
Man, one of the strangest books ever, and the aliens in it are about the most alien aliens I've ever read about.
Nice.
When was it written? Do you know?
1980.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are they like gaseous or something? What makes them different?
Well, they're on a planet that has 10 billion times the gravity of Earth.
That's a lot.
So they started as humanoid and became the size of sesame seeds. So
wow.
It's very interesting. I have never seen aliens like it. Very cool.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the weird things, isn't it? That if we love science fiction, which we do, we have to get used to quite quickly the fact that every alien is humanoid, right?
Yeah.
And when they're not, it's quite exciting.
Yeah, it really is a cool book. The stuff that takes place on Earth is interesting. The stuff that takes place off of Earth is really strange, but it's completely hard science fiction. So a person has to be in for that to enjoy the book. But yeah, it's great, but it is very hard science fiction.
Sorry, I missed it. I missed just the beginning of that. Sorry, that was actually the light from the window reflecting off my camera. That's what was causing that problem. All right, so what is it
Dragon's Egg. Dragon's Egg. Is by,
is that Hamilton?
Huh?
Is that by Hamilton?
No, it's Robert L. Forward.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think I've seen someone else mention it. I think it's not like enormously obscure. So yeah, there might be a few other people that read it.
Yeah, actually, Matt at Science Fiction Reads is the one that told me about it.
He should be appearing at some point, which would be nice. We haven't spoken to him for ages. Because we were saying as well about New Worlds November was this time last year, which is a great event, wasn't it?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun because we had so many people in the Voxer, and I mean we would have 200 or 300 messages a day going through Voxer, and that was just really fun.
Yeah. And that was my first experience with that as well, and my first experience with Voxer, really. So, but yeah, it's nice because obviously you get to know people by texting them, texting messages, but speaking is very personal, isn't it? So, yeah, it's much better. So, has someone not said what they're reading? I don't think MJ has yet. It's only just appeared. But Mike, you talked about the guy that sent you the book. I forgot what it's called.
The City of Marble and Blood.
City of Marble and Blood.
Yeah.
And Dave, have you mentioned what you've been reading?
No, what I'm in the middle of?
Yeah.
So I'm still in the middle of, I'm still working my way slowly through this one, which we talked about, Tchaikovsky's Doors of Eden.
Yeah.
But the one I'm just a little bit into so far that Michael's going to be very happy about.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Dracula. So,
yeah.
I wasn't planning to read that, actually. And I went to, I recently read the House of Usher, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then another booktuber told, just because the Netflix show is on, so I read the House of Usher, and somebody told me that book, What Moves the Dead, by Kingfisher, is like a retelling. So I went to the bookstore to get that, and then, as always happens, while I was in the bookstore, I saw this, Carmilla.
Oh, that's a good one.
I had
that
never heard of this, and
Mhm.
so I opened it up and I was
Oh.
reading the introduction. It's got a great introduction with little history. This version,
Mhm.
and talking about this is like 26 years before Dracula and influenced Dracula, and I'm like,
Mhm.
wow, it's not that long. So I picked this up and I brought it home and read it like right away, and then by the time I finished it, I was like, well, I guess I should probably just move on to Dracula now. So picked up Dracula. So, but yeah, I picked up this is a really nice this Penguin. I know Michael's a fan of the Penguins, but this Classics Deluxe, this is one of the nicest ones that I've seen.
Nice.
Yeah, they
So,
make nice books. The
Yeah.
deluxe editions are great.
Yeah, and then they're really not all that expensive. I mean, they're usually about $20 to $25.
Something like
I
that.
mean, they'll last forever with those nice French flaps and everything. I
yeah,
love
this was on sale. I got this for $12.
Oh,
Oh
Deal.
wow!
it's a good deal.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, I don't-
Mike, how many times have you read Dracula, Mike?
I have no
Sorry.
idea. I have no idea. Many times. Well, I would say I probably read it once every couple of years.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So how far have you got into it, Dave?
Oh, I'm only like my 60 pages in or so. Yeah, 60 pages in. But I'm enjoying it so far. It's like a lot of these books. I'm just like, I'm ashamed of myself that I never read it and didn't even really know like what type of book it was until, I heard Michael talking about it recently. He was talking about that it was, that it was an epistolary format and everything. I had no idea, like really. I knew it was about a vampire. That was pretty much it. I didn't know much about the book. So, but it's good. Yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. I loved Carmilla. That was great. But yeah, I don't know. That maybe it's going to kick off a vampire run now, and I'll just end up reading one vampire book after another.
Well, there are a
Yeah,
few of them out
I
there.
read it a long time ago.
I just picked this
Oh,
up
yeah.
yesterday. Empire of the Vampire. I just picked that up yesterday, and I've heard great things. And I'm on a vampire kick myself after I read Interview with the Vampire. Just finished it a couple of weeks ago. Loved it. So now I had to pick something else up, and I've been hearing good things about this. So thought I would try. I thought I would try it. It's a big book though, like 750 pages, and they're not small pages.
Is that a book that no one's read? Is that ringing bells with anyone?
No, I'm familiar with the title, but I've never read it.
Yeah, I've heard of it. I've heard good things. I've heard bad things. So I'll be interested in hearing what you think of it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm excited about getting into it. I like to hear the interview from the author. The interviews are really good with the author. He's a very smart guy. He does a lot of YA. Like this is his first non-YA work, I do believe.
And it's like everything else in the world. It's part of a series now, isn't it? I think
It
the
is.
second book is out already. I think.
Yeah, Empire of the Damned, I think it's called.
Mhm.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
I'll wait for the paperback.
Speaking of vampires, how's Varney going, Michael?
Oh, Varney is waiting till October
Okay.
because I have no time to read it until October. I had to schedule it in. Next year is very regimented.
Barney's like your Garbostina, isn't he?
More or less, yeah. Exactly.
We all need an alternative, an alter ego on our channel.
We all
Celeste, have you ever been tempted to make up a new character for your channel?
No, not really. I thought about it, but I felt like it'd be too hard to keep up with.
I recommend it.
You seem to have so much fun with it.
It's a lot of fun
A lot of fun to watch.
in small doses.
in small
You feel like
doses.
you're
I was afraid
coping.
Christina might take over. She might end up with her own channel.
That would be world domination.
Yeah, it could happen.
Who is it? This might not ring a bell with anyone, but early days of me watching BookTube, someone did an Emily Bronte thing or something where they slowly turned into her. Who was that?
I don't know. That sounds cool.
I don't
It was
think
a response to a book event, and they and then during the video they turned into the author. I think it was like it was Bronte or someone like that, or Austen, maybe Jane Austen.
Hmm.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I hope that
Yeah,
never
it was
happens.
quite funny.
hmm
But yeah, it's cool to do those things. Right, let's get a few comments up. So yeah, you were away when Gola said, "Love your Robert E. Howard show, Mythos Mondays."
Yeah, those are coming back soon.
Awesome. Oh, and actually, on that note, Scott and Becky coming back soon, aren't they?
We're coming back Thursday, actually.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
fantastic.
Very exciting.
Nice.
Cool.
As we've all missed you loads.
Yeah, we have sure missed everybody too. I mean, we just had so much going on, and we're finally to the point to where we can get back to BookTube. We're excited.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Aaron says, I just read Camilla, liked it better than Dracula.
Hmm.
Mhm.
So did Becky.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was not a big fan of Dracula. She's like one of the few people I know that has read it that just didn't really like it that much. I think she got bored with the epistolary stuff, you know, with the epistolary format, and I didn't. I really did enjoy it, but she was not a big fan of it.
I think it takes me getting used to, I think. And it's very slowly paced, isn't it? But obviously pays off, but do you think that's true? Fred says, Celeste, did you hang those 2 pictures from your previous video?
Oh, yeah, not yet. I have to get them framed still. I think you're talking about the pictures that I bought at the book event, right?
The forest and the haunted house.
Yeah, that's it. No, I have so many pictures I need to hang. But I might be
Well, you've
moving
been-
still.
You've been poorly as well, haven't you? So
I what? Sorry?
you've been a bit ill, haven't you? So you don't want to
Oh,
wander
yeah, a
around.
little bit. Well, I got them a while ago, so. But yeah, still need to get them framed, and I don't know if I want to get a black frame or a white frame. So if you have any advice on that, that'd be great.
Don't know, I suppose it depends on the room, doesn't it? But Gothic goes well
True,
with black,
true.
doesn't it?
Has anybody got
I
anything
vote black.
framed lately, like professionally? Man, the prices have gotten crazy.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Even
I
even
was-
with the sale, even with the sales coupon, it's still
Yeah,
up.
I went to Michael's Arts and Crafts to get
Mhm.
my I don't know, a few years ago to get like my college diploma and my tassel framed and all that. Even with the coupon, it was going to be like $500. I was like,
Oh wow,
Yeah.
Mhm. It's a lot.
Oh my
that's a
god,
lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
crazy!
hmm
yeah.
When you
that's
say
an
it's a
ask.
lot, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was with a 50% off coupon. So
Yeah.
it would have been $1,000 without it.
I had the
Well,
same situation. My father was an artist, and I had 2 prints of his from 1965 that he made. It was a watercolor and ink drawing. And I'm like, I'd love to have these framed and hang them up. So I went to Michael's and I took them, and we're working it all out. And it was going to be triple matted and glass and this kind of, wood print or wood frame and all this. I hand him my coupon. He gives me the bill. It's like $700. And I'm like, okay.
What?
I'm like,
That's
okay.
a lot.
Well, there goes all of my fun money, but they did a fantastic job. Like, I will say that, but it is outrageous, completely outrageous. But I still have them hanging up, and I still look at them, and well worth the money if you want to preserve something like that.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. It's not just the look, is it? It's also preserving it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I think the best
And it was
thing though is just
personal.
to bring your picture to the store and see whichever pre-made frame fits best.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
cut bits off it.
Yeah.
And half the picture. Well, I'd do it for the frame.
Yeah.
Al says hi.
Hi.
Hey,
Hey.
how you doing?
And then Aaron says, I think that was Tilly. Is that to you, Celeste? Or I don't know what that means.
Don't think so.
Hi, Alan. Hi, Al. Oh, Brian's here. Awesome.
Brian.
Cool.
Hi,
Hey.
Brian.
Hey, Brian. Nice to see you.
Everyone's chatting away. It's cool. Yeah, they're all going to be glad to see you back.
Thank you.
No, big star. It's really funny because we were all kind of, what, do we do the events without them? What's the deal? You know, because I remember sending a message to Mike going, we can't not do Horror Mayhem, but we also can't do it, can we? In you know, remember that, Mike?
Yeah, and that's what I was going to ask. Is Horror Mayhem returning this year?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Yes. Yeah.
Because
Horror
we did it
Mayhem.
last year without you, and it was really weird.
Without you, but also tagging you and referencing you. That's where the you know,
Oh yes.
creation
Yeah.
of the event was. So it was an homage. It was like, you know, in absentia.
Right. Yeah. It was fine. I mean, anything you all want to do with anything we've created, if we can't be a part, it's just fine with us. Like I told Gareth, there's no ego here. You know, yeah, we might have had an idea, but it was made with a whole lot of other people. So, yeah.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
But-
But New World's November. Scott said it's coming back next year as well.
Nice.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. New World's November was my favorite, I guess, because it's my favorite genre. Science fiction is my favorite genre. Where with horror being, you know, second favorite. And I still, but the event Horror Mayhem was just as fun.
Mhm.
So yeah. They were really great events, and I loved them.
I'll tell you what, I'm gonna get the comments back up in a second, and I can see what Aaron was doing now, actually, which I'll mention in a second. But just as you're saying that, could everyone tell me how they can reflect on this year's book events, and if some of you particularly liked, or some that you wanted to get involved in and didn't, or you know, how you feel about that? It'd be kind of interesting to find out what you think about that. Dave, what about you? Book events this year?
Yeah, for me, it's been a great time because I never did any book events until this year.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and so the first one I did was I told Scott already that I had a great time doing Horror Mayhem without him. It would have been better though. Would have been better if you were there. But I think it was you, Michael, that clued me into Horror Mayhem, and so I had a great time with that. I was I'm very frequently not very disciplined, but I was very disciplined with that, with the weekly videos and the weekly reading, and I had a great time with it. And then you know, Ollie invited me to do Garb August, and I had a real good time with that. I fell down the last week of Garb August, but I had a really good time with that one too, and we had a lot of fun with those. Ollie and I had a lot of fun making those videos. So yeah, these I'm going to be doing more of these events, I think, because they're a lot of fun, and most importantly, they keep me disciplined. So
I'm intrigued by you saying you fell down at the last week. Did you just think, I need to read something that's not trash? Is that what happened?
no, I just, you know, life. I didn't finish. I fell off.
That's the problem. Real life intrudes on
Yeah.
the important thing, which is, you know, reading and booktube.
Right. Too often
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah. What about you, Celeste? Book event.
I think I only did Garb August this year, and I feel like I want to do more book events, but I kind of feel the same way about book events as I do about book clubs, where it's such a big commitment that I don't know how to explain, but I end up not reading what I really want to read as a mood reader, you know?
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna stick with just Garb August, maybe Horror Mayhem, but it's probably gonna be it for me.
I think it helps if it's something that you're already almost reading anyway. And then you go, okay, well, I'll do that. I think that's true. I mean, I couldn't get involved in Victober because I don't read Victorian literature, so you know.
Depends on if you're a fast reader or not, too.
Yeah. I think that's the pressure to try and create content and join up with everybody else, because I think nobody really minds if you're a slower reader.
Yeah.
But the pressure's there, isn't it? What about you, Mike?
Well, I have to try harder to pick and choose what I'm going to be doing as far as events, just because there are so many of them. And there's a bunch of other stuff I want to read, but there are some that I'm just excited about, like Horror Mayhem. I would like to do that forever. And Garbage, of course, is the best event in the world, next to June on the Range, anyway. And so there's events like every month, more than one usually nowadays. So you just have to kind of pick and choose what you can do. And there's some you can be more involved in than others. Like sometimes you can only read one book for an event, which is fine. It just depends on how quick you can read and whatever else you have on your plate.
Yeah, I usually add whatever the event is to other things I'm doing, and sometimes do more than one event in a month. So with June on the Range, I think I only read 2 books. I bought about 8 that I was ready to go, but I think I only ended up getting to 2 books. So I've got another load up in the loft ready for that. Yeah. God, your maths is impeccable.
Isn't it fantastic? Yeah, I'm a genius.
2 years in a row, I've had stuff ready to go for June on the Range, and still haven't. July seems to be the worst. I guess there's just so much going on. It's always the worst reading month for me.
Yeah. I was Alice.
Although it's June.
Yeah.
It's June, not July.
I wasn't going to pick up on it. We know what you meant. Alice and the Giant Bookshelf mentioned my Winter Wyndham earlier. That was really cool. That was so she's going to read something from John Wyndham, which is nice. But yeah, you bring these things up and you just think, whatever. I mean, that's a very specific one. Whereas June on the Range is nice because just got everyone thinking about westerns. And I never thought about reading westerns. And in that first year, I read Shane, which is brilliant. I think you read Shane as well, didn't you, MJ?
Yeah. That was my first Western ever.
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
that's great. A good one.
Yeah.
And Sisters Brothers. I read Sisters Brothers as well. That was really good. It reminded me of a Coen Brothers film that did. Not a specific one, but the style.
Yeah.
I made a mistake in 2022 for June on the Range and read Lonesome Dove, which is a great book, but it took about 2/3 of my month. It's huge.
I read that this year.
Yeah.
I tell you what,
that's
yeah. I think I don't know. I haven't read Lonesome Dove, but have you read that, Dave?
No.
MJ, you said you read it?
I read it this summer. Yep.
Cool.
Very. I can see why it's a favorite among the boys. It's very. It's very. I don't want to say almost like an episodic soap opera type thing where you're visiting different characters and different things are going on. I mean, it's a 900 chunk. Did I enjoy it? Yes, but I can see why it's a favorite of the boys.
Okay.
Is it full of testosterone? Is it?
Yeah.
Very masculine book.
Masculine themes.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, me and Dave are almost buddy reading Cage of Souls, and that's a big book. I definitely want to read it, and it's it's like, oh yeah, I'll do this one first. I'll do it. And we need to get to it. It's probably me that's dragging it. Is it me that's dragging it?
Yeah, Dave? I'm ready.
Yeah, it's me.
I bought that book in March, Gareth. I'm just kidding. No pressure. Whenever you're ready.
Well, no, that's all good. No, I really want to read it, and I'm a big fan of Adrian Tchaikovsky, and that will be my 4th book that I read by him. So, I think he's really reliable. Anyone else like Adrian Tchaikovsky?
Yeah, I've read one book by Adrian Tchaikovsky, but it wasn't Children of Time like I wanted to read. It was a different book that I had sent to me as a review copy. What was the name? It was the first book of a different series, and I cannot remember the name of the book. But it was still like his science fiction stuff, but I cannot remember the name of it. But it was great.
Like that, Shards of Earth, maybe.
I believe it was Shards of Earth. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's supposed to be good.
Yeah, I had that sent to me as a review copy, and I was just blown away. I mean, the guy's an amazing writer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you read anything by him, Mike?
No, but I've got Children of Time, and I've had it ready to read. It's literally sitting over there, and it has been sitting over there, I think, for 2 years. Like, there's so many books I really want to get to, and that's one of them, but I just don't read fast enough. That's my problem.
Yeah. I think you read the same way as everyone else.
Yep.
Go on.
But I will read it eventually.
It's a hell of a book. I tell you what though, I found it strange. Like Mike was saying, everything's a series now. I thought it was strange when there was another one because it's such a complete ending, and it was like, oh, he's done another one, But who knows if that was the publisher saying do another one or if he had it in mind. But yeah, I mean, it's a very complete ending, I think.
That I
Dave,
think is a
you
great
read
thing.
The second one, right?
Me? Yeah, I actually just read the third one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but you can the great thing about that series is you do get complete they're connected, so it continues on, but you get complete closure at the end of each one. Each one is its own story, so you don't have to move on. You can just read Children of Time, and Children of Time is the best in my view of the three. So I mean, you could just read it and call it a day there.
I'll tell you what I was just thinking, is it so good? And there's those two plots that are going, and those two plots are always interesting, and they're always like, there's always things going on. You think, well, a massive book like that, surely there's going to be a lull period where there's 100 pages that are a little bit like, can you get on with it? And those two plots are always interesting, and then it obviously converge, and then it goes a bit crazy at the end. But I think it's quite unusual for those two plots to be that good, that consistently.
Yeah, I agree. That's spot on. It's it's not a short book, but there was never any lull whatsoever. And I guess he did a really good job, I think, flipping back and forth between the two of them. And but yeah, it was always engaging. And he basically does that in all of the books. He's got those parallel plots, I guess. And it's a great series. I mean, I thought all three books were really good, but the first one was definitely the best.
Do you think Children of Time will eventually get classic status? Like someday, will people be talking about that book the way they talk about Dune or a book like that? Is it that good, do you think?
Dave?
I don't know. What do you think?
I think there are some, if you look at SF Masterworks, there are some books in there that you think, why the hell is that in the list? So I think sometimes, if you compare it with Dune, fair enough. You could argue that there's a lot more philosophy in it. There's a lot more depth in it. Although saying that, there is a lot of depth in Children of Time. But there are some things in the SF Masterworks that are just a mess. And you just think, well, is that a classic?
I have a question. I have a question about the SF Masterworks. I buy Blu-rays and DVDs of the Criterion Collection. And they can only have a movie if no one else has the rights. They actually have to buy the rights. Does SF Masterworks have to do that with the science fiction books that they release? Do they have to buy the rights in order to release it? Or is it something that's just gone out of print at that point? Or I'm not sure how that works.
Well, in some cases, some of what they publish is in the public domain, but in other cases, I think they've had to get the right certain books.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure how that worked with SF Masterworks. I know they have tons. There are tons of SF Masterworks, and I wasn't sure. I know they have stuff from like H.G. Wells, all the way up to, I don't know. I don't know how far they've gone. I know they have Dune. They had Dune at one point. There's an SF Masterworks Dune, but there's newer stuff than that even. So yeah.
Well, they had The Shrinking Man by Matheson, and that is certainly not in the public domain. They had to pay for that. I don't know how much, but there are certain books that they would have to pay to use them.
Okay. Because
I mean, I think,
go ahead. I'm
go
sorry.
on. No, go on.
Because I remember, like I was talking about the Criterion Collection, the first movie the Criterion Collection released was The Silence of the Lambs, and they could only get that because no one was printing it at the time, and they were able to purchase the rights. So yeah, I wasn't sure. I don't know how the publishing. I know a little more about the movie industry than I do the publishing industry. So
Yeah, I think it's probably not that different. Some stuff, like Michael was saying, is just old enough that it's out of copyright, and so nobody's got the rights to it anymore. But for other stuff, somebody may or may not be able to give you the rights or license the rights to you, depending on what rights they've already given. They may have given one publisher exclusive rights to something for a certain amount of years, so then they're not going to be able to license it to anybody else until that agreement is expired. So it's going to be different in every case.
Okay.
Cool. There's an SF Masterworks I think you mentioned in your video, Dave. You asked if anyone had read Road Marks by Zelazny.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really didn't like it.
Okay. I won't read that one then.
And that's unusual for me. I normally like anything. I get criticized for liking too many things. But yeah, I thought it was awful. And I was gutted because Roger Zelazny was one of the first writers I read when I was a kid, like a teenager. So I was like, I haven't read that one yet. And that's an SF. And I was like, what? I didn't like it. Have you read that one, anyone? Road Marks?
Not that one.
So what's it about? I mean, I thought the cover was really cool, so I grabbed it.
Yeah, it's got a good concept, like a lot of these older sci-fi things, good concept, and then it's like, well, you should have hired a writer to write it. What is it? I think it's there's two immortals that are competing against something. That's what I remember. It's about immortality, I think. But yeah, it's just badly written. Bless him.
Not very memorable, apparently.
Well, when it comes to science fiction, there are just as many science fiction writers who are not good at writing characters and such, as there are science fiction writers who are good at writing characters and such. I mean, this Robert L. Forward book I'm reading, it's a book of ideas. It is definitely not a character-driven book. So if somebody's in it more for that, then this is not the book for them. But yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think that's that show not tell thing, isn't it? Show not tell, is that right? Show not tell.
Yeah. Show don't tell.
Yeah.
So the characters should be driving the story, isn't it, rather than just you having a great idea and waffling about it. I don't know. Controversial. Is it controversial? I don't know. What do you think about that, Mike?
About what? I haven't read that particular.
Science fiction writers that get away with murder because they got great ideas and everyone loves them. Asimov and can't really write prose very well.
I mean, yeah, but he does have great ideas, and he's not a bad writer. He's just not. He's just very basic, But he's a very basic, simple writer. But he gets his ideas across, and his stories are entertaining,
Yeah.
And somebody likes that masterworks that you don't like, And
oh yeah,
I think
definitely.
It depends what you look for in the book. And there are sci-fi readers who are just only there for the ideas, and that's enough.
Yeah, absolutely. And certainly the people I spoke to on BookTube, and were like that Voxer discussion we had, I think this time last year, there was loads of people in the chat that really only wanted ideas, didn't really care about the rest of it. So it's fair enough. Absolutely fair enough.
And it's like what you frequently talk about when it comes to books. A lot of it is subjective. A lot of it is what we happen to like in books.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
which is why I did that video recently. Like, why does it matter? What do you think?
I mean, there are a lot of books that are classics, that are great books that I recognize are works of just pure brilliance, and I don't like them. You know, it just depends.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've got absolutely no qualms about agreeing that I'm sure Jane Austen's amazing, but I don't think I'll ever read a book by her.
No, you're not doing Jane Austen July this year?
No. But it's a preconception. Is it a preconception? I think it's probably just the things I've seen of the adaptations. I don't think that's for me, but I don't know. Maybe I should read. No, we did do some of it at school as well, to be fair. Yeah. I have had an experience with it, so it's not completely blind. But talking about Emily Bronte or Jane Austen or those guys, they're all one. They all lived in one house, didn't they? We've got hold on, no, we won't go there yet. Well, I will actually, because I mentioned. So Aaron was just talking about. I said someone turned into Emily Bronte. It was Tilly.
Oh.
And it was really funny. It was very good. So that was one of the first things I saw when I was watching BookTube, I think, from what I remember. Must have been a few years ago. And then Fred is outraged like we were. It's crazy money. Al says he framed the Sergeant Pepper picture disc. You need to get it back off your ex, man. Not always easy. Michael, what does the Lady of the Manor think of your epic Marvel collection?
Oh, she's thrilled, as you might imagine. He loves to have tons and tons and tons of graphic novels and comic book collections all over the house. She thinks it's great. Yeah.
Yeah. On that video, while I was watching it, I actually brought my stepdad is a comic book collector, and I brought him in here and showed him your epic collection, and he said, "Wow, that is awesome." Yeah, that is really cool.
It is nice. I like it. I had to move a bunch of. I have this other room now down the hall where all the other comics are, and it's just out of control. It's all out of control. But they've joined. Other than the epic collections, they've joined the 500 book challenge. So I'll be getting far fewer of them now.
Mm.
To me, that made sense though. When you said you were going to add the comics and graphic novels to it, I just thought, well, it is reading, so why did you not include it in the first place?
Well, I didn't include them in the first place, because then I would have to stop buying them. That's so now I have to stop buying them. That's the thing. So
fair enough. Yeah.
But after Dave's video that he put up, was it this morning or yesterday, about your gigantic book haul? I think you're ready to join the 500 book challenge along with me.
I think you're right, Michael.
I tell you what, you threw that at us while there's tons of us doing the read what your own challenge. So that seemed a little bit aggressive, actually.
Just trying to poke you guys in the eye.
Something to look forward to.
Yeah. So my wife obviously doesn't like this either, but so she actually had just told me, I may have told this story already, but she just told me that if I got rid of some furniture down in the basement, that I could get some more bookcases down there for these books, because now they're like in boxes and stuff. So I did that, of course, right away. I got rid of the old furniture, and my bookcases just came. I just got a Black Friday deal, so they just came last night. So I started putting them together, and it occurred to me that I can't believe, I'm like, oh, I really appreciate you being so supportive of my hobby and everything. So go. And it occurred to me that she maybe wants me to get all these books up on the shelf so that I look at them and realize just how many I have and how many unread books are in this house, so that it'll discourage me from buying any more for a while.
I tell you what, I came to a realization a couple of weeks ago, because obviously we've been talking a lot about buying books on a whim, or buying books because you want to read it and then don't get around to reading it, or buying books because you're collecting them. Yeah, we've all done lots of videos about that. But then it just suddenly hit me that it makes a lot more sense to buy books you haven't read than it does to buy books you have read.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It doesn't actually make sense to buy books you've read, does it?
All right.
But we do it.
Mhm.
Unless there's huge sentimental value.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's an extra fancy
can
pants
compare 'em.
edition of something. You know, there's that.
Fancy pants.
Extra
Well, you know-
fancy
Yeah.
pants. Sometimes.
Well, you know, a book like Les Miserables or something huge, Count of Monte Cristo, something like that. I think it would probably be best to spend a little money on something like that, and
Mhm.
you know, something that you really want to hold up.
Mhm.
Because I have a like a Signet classic of Les Miserables, and the thing is this thick, at least, and there is no way that thing's going to hold up to a reading. It's just like a mass market paperback of it's 1,600 pages or so. I'm like, there's no way
I have
can.
that one.
Oh, you do? Yeah.
That's- That's how I read that book.
Wow.
Was
And-
that
and
in
it
a
held up?
paperback?
Wow.
Yeah.
I have the Penguin Classic Deluxe now, but I still have
Yeah.
the one you're talking about, and it held up to a reading.
It did. It held up fairly well. I mean, it's beat up, you know,
Mhm.
because I was carrying it around with me forever. Because that book took me forever to read. I read that before I was on BookTube, so I was even slower than I am now. But yeah, I was carrying that around for like 2 months, I think,
Yeah.
in my work bag and wherever I was going.
The print is microscopic too, so that would kill that'd kill my eyes probably.
My glasses are
You-
good, thank goodness.
Does everyone always have a book or a Kindle with them wherever they go?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
do, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And-
I always take whatever I'm reading to work, and I hate it when, because I like to keep my books in a good condition, when you just something happens and you'll just pick it out of the bag, and for some reason the front's bent, and you didn't realize that was
Mhm.
going to happen, and you're like, no, no,
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah, I
Um,
always take mine. I put it in like a freezer bag and I wrap it up a bit and then put it in my bag.
I thought you were going to say put it in the
Gives it a little
freezer.
bit of protection. Well, I don't put it in the freezer, but I have like like one of those thick plastic bags, and I just put it in that and put it in my and carry it wherever I go.
You can
I
put it in the freezer, but you have to know in advance when you're going to read it. 'Cause you have to defrost it before you read it.
I guess I'm not sure why you would freeze a book, but you know you could. Sure, whatever you're into, man.
Preserves the intent of the author better, I think.
I didn't think of that.
Yeah. Have you ever anyone had any horrible experiences with books that you've taken around with you everywhere, and then you're like, oh, that's ruined?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I
Bleak
have-
House. My Charles Dickens Bleak House. I spilled bourbon on it, and I destroyed it.
I was just gonna say I spilled red wine all over my first copy of Ocean at the End of the Lane.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was carrying around my copy of Slash's autobiography, and it was already busted because it was my brother's before me. But then TSA just busted it, and it's like split. The pages are disconnected from the
Oh.
binding, and it's like
Oh.
split in the middle where the pictures are. It's ridiculous.
Mm.
That's
I'm
tragic.
so sad, and I
Yeah.
still haven't finished it. Like 10 years later.
Yeah, sometimes like you don't want to get rid of a book, and you're like, at some point, you're like, actually, this is so bad that I need to get a replacement. It's just such a mess.
Yeah, I wouldn't read it. It's too fragile.
Yeah, when I was, I did that. I don't think it's posted yet. I did a Richard Matheson video where I just went through my Richard Matheson books,
Mm.
and There was two I
that's
couldn't
pretty good.
find. Yeah. I thought you'd think that. So yeah, I'm very looking forward to putting it up. But one of my copies of I'm Legend is in three parts. There's the cover, there's the
Wow.
other bit, and there's another bit. And it's just like put it together and then holding up with two hands, but it's a cool cover, so it's worth keeping. Let's have a look at some comments, shall we? So Al says, I just finished the Citadel. Oh, sorry, Citadel of the Altar. Do you guys know that one?
Was that Salman Rushdie as well? I know he just finished the Satanic Verses by Salman Rushdie. Wondering if it was another Rushdie book.
I don't know. Garbogs was the first time an author commented on one of my reviews. Wow.
Wow.
Bit awkward given the nature of the event. Your book's trash. But we always say it's not about trash as in bad, is it? It's trash as in the intent of why it was released, isn't it? Because to be fair, if it was just about you going, oh, this book's crap, then I probably wouldn't get involved. So
yeah, I can see that as being confusing as an author, right? Because you have a reviewer saying like, "Oh man, this was wonderfully trashy." Is that like a compliment or?
No press is bad press.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Beck-
it's
Beck and
definitely a
I-
compliment.
True.
Beck
I
and
imagine
I
Jackie
were-
Collins would have seen this compliment.
Yeah, Becky and I were making a video. We made a video about some of her alien romance books that she loves so much. And right after we released the video, the author contacted Becky on Facebook and said, "Will you stop trashing my covers?" So
Huh.
yeah,
Yeah, it's all very interconnected now. You're actually directly speaking to these people now, aren't you? Yeah, it's a strange world. But then you had that guy that was abusing that reviewer and wrote that book all
Yeah.
about them being tortured and stuff. That's really weird, isn't it?
That's messed up.
Oh yeah.
wow.
Hmm.
I mean, that's scary. Kind of, what your stories obviously must have probably. I don't know. Did it upset Becky getting that?
A little bit. It wasn't terrible. I mean, she had talked to her a little bit before. Like about her books and all that stuff, and we didn't think anything of it. I mean, the covers are trashy, obviously. Unironically, those covers are what they are.
Mm.
And but yeah, the author didn't like it too much, but that's okay. She still talks to her sometimes. So
that level's kind of an okay level, isn't it? But that other one, Jesus, that's crazy.
Hmm.
I mean, but two of the people on this thing have publicly reviewed my stuff, which is awesome, and thank God you liked it.
yeah, I love it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
your stuff is good.
You might have sent me a message going, Gareth, thanks for the book, but it's awful. What are you doing? Stop writing.
yeah, Michael. I remember you reviewing Gareth's book. Yeah, it was a good review about a year
was
ago,
good.
probably.
Yeah, probably.
Anyway, we won't dwell on that. It's not about me. Let's have a look. Faulkner in August, Al says. I've never read any William Faulkner. Should I read William Faulkner?
Once. I would say once. Read As I Lay Dying and see what you think. I mean, if you fall for it, you like it.
Is that his greatest hit?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I mean,
Is that his most commercial one?
if it's not for you, you're gonna know after As I Lay Dying.
I think people that have got that kind of reputation or prestige or status, it's good to read a bit, isn't it? To know if you like their style, if you like their narrative voice, that kind of thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
Saying earlier
What-
about a book
Mm.
that
Go on, Mike.
yeah, it's like what I was saying earlier about a book that's a classic, and that I read The Sound and the Fury, by Faulkner. And I wish I was lying down dying instead of reading that book, but I could recognize that it was a work of genius, right? I recognized that this was a brilliant book. I just hated every single minute of reading it. It was just like pure torture. It's one of the few books I actually tried to DNF, but I can't DNF books. So I put it down and I'm like, no, I have to finish it, even though I'll hate every second. And I did. I hated every second. It's like, I don't know, 300 pages of misery. But a lot of people think it's magnificent. And like I said, I could recognize the genius in that book. I just would rather die than read it again.
I'm not sure if Alan would agree with you on that one. But that's the thing about the DNF thing, right? Me and Dave were buddy reading The Female Man, and we both stopped. And I said to him, I think I'm going to stop. And he said, oh, thank God you said that, because I'm going to stop anyway. But I stopped because it was making me not read. So that's the thing about the DNF thing. I just wasn't picking up a book because that was the book I was reading. And because I didn't want to read it, I went for about a week where I didn't read. And I was just thought, well, I'm missing reading. So why am I why am I thinking that that's the book I need to read when I'm not reading? So that's why I DNF'd it. So
yeah, same thing for me.
I think that's a good time to DNF. If it, if you're dreading picking it up, why even pick it up?
Yeah,
I'm going to try and finish it before the end of the year because there's a DNF. Is it you, MJ, that's doing a DNF event?
Yeah, DNF December along with Remember December. So I have a bunch of DNFs from this year I want to get to. So see if I could smoosh them in at the end of the year.
Yeah. Has anyone read something after DNFing it and then really liked it?
You mean by the same author?
Yeah, well, the same book. Like you finished the book that you put down, thinking you weren't going to read it.
Yeah. Last year I DNF'd Dracula. And I picked it up this year and I finished it. And I'm like, I liked it better this year than I did last year. I just wasn't in the right frame of mind to read it last year.
It took me 3 attempts to get through Dune, but now it's my second favorite book of all time. So yeah, Dune, the first 100 pages of Dune. If you haven't read it, you don't know what you're getting into. The first 100 pages are difficult. Yeah. But once you're through them, I mean, it's like a different world. It's pretty amazing. So, yep.
Yeah. So that maybe as I lay dying, Mike, you just weren't in the right frame of mind.
Yeah, I don't know that I'll ever be in that frame of mind, but that's maybe.
Right, hold on. We got Brian's. Oh no, hold on. Margaret's here. Hello. And she just jumped on Surfing the Lives. That's cool. Surfing the Lives.
Margaret has this amazing talent for catching basically every live.
There's a lot of them, isn't there? I think every night someone's doing a live.
Yeah.
But I really I love this. This is awesome, because I think this is, like I was saying with Voxer last year when I started doing that, like literally last November, this is like friendship, isn't it? And making comments on videos is that, but it's not as real as this, I can literally say to Celeste, do you like lemon meringue pie?
Yep.
There you go. I now know that, and I've never made as a comment. Why would you? Who cares? There we are. That's great analysis there. Brilliant. Well done, Gareth. Brian says, "Gotta love Wolf."
You talking about Gene Wolfe?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. That was probably a reference from ages ago because this is probably more back.
Gene Wolfe's an interesting read, that's for sure. Man, yeah, I like it.
Well, again, very layered in it. It's very. I imagine. Well, I've only read. What have I read?
I've read.
No, I've only read bits of The Fifth Head of Cerberus. Sorry, what was that?
I read the first book of his big series. I can't remember the name of it.
Book of the New Sun.
Yeah, Book of the New Sun. Yeah, more about the torturer.
Yeah, and I get the impression, I don't know if anyone, I think Mike's already read it, but that you're kind of reading it in bits to try and get what's going on because it's all very cryptic. Is that right?
Yeah.
You talking to me?
I think we might have lost Mike. Oh yeah. Have you read that? Have you read Book of the New
I
Sun?
haven't read it yet.
Oh
No, I have it right up there though,
there we go.
and it's ready to
assuming
read.
you read
but
it.
I haven't read it yet.
I
No.
think that's what, because I
Like,
watched
that's because I
Moid.
should've
Does anyone
read
watch
it.
Moid? Yeah. Does anyone watch
Oh,
Moid's
yeah,
channel,
Moid's great.
Media Death Cult?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because he talks about it all the time, and he says that it's you got to keep kind of translating what you're reading to and get how it works with everything else that's happening. It sounds very complicated.
Yeah.
He loves that. Yeah, he's a great channel, isn't he? He's been doing these big video essays, and he recently he's stopped doing book hauls and stuff just to do that kind of thing, which is kind of interesting. Yeah,
Well,
he's
Moy has
he goes
moved,
up.
he's moved on to another level.
Yeah, he's transcended, and
has.
now he's got, because he's always had another guy filming him, hasn't he? So there's always had that sort of element, but
Right.
and he's always taken what he
always
does
beyond.
seriously.
He has staff and people and editors, and he's like big time.
Yeah, and now he's doing it out in location and like going making it all very fancy. But it's very cool. If I didn't have a life, I'd do that. Al says, I've only been reading Wolf for a few years. Book of the New Sun. Yeah, Book of the New Sun. So he loves that. Margaret laugh. What did Aaron say then? Hold on, I might have missed that. No, can't see what. Oh no, that's the comment about Garb August about the awkwardness. Any recommendations for a top 3 books out now? Anyone? So maybe new top 3 books. MJ, you got your finger on the pulse.
They're not normal books. Let me think. Oh, Alison Rumfitt. I just got her book called Brainworms. She did the book called Tell Me I'm Worthless. It's a very interesting take on a haunted house story, and it blew my mind. So that's a really good one, but it's not everyone's cup of tea. So read the back, make sure that you know what you're getting into. What else? There's a Christmas horror anthology that just came out that I'm excited to dig into. I think there's like 24, no, maybe not 24, maybe 18 different authors. Stephen Graham Jones is in there. And they're all based on, Yuletide Christmas type season. So that should be pretty cool to get into too. So those would be my 2 picks for right now.
Can I
There is some nasty Christmas traditions, isn't there, out there? Some European ones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mike. Go on.
I'd like to throw out S.A. Cosby's All the Sinners Bleed as a really, really good book that is still on the shelves. I really enjoyed that book. That was awesome. I read it because I watched Gareth's review of which one was it? Was it Razorblade?
Razorblade Tears. Razorblade Tears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I tried to buy that for MJ in London. She went, "You can't buy me a book." Whatever.
Because I didn't have room, but I got it. S.A. Crosby is an automatic author that I have yet to read, but I have almost all of his stuff, but I have not read him.
Yeah, no, that's a good shout. That's got amazing storyteller. Have you read anything by him yet, Mike?
Not yet, no.
No, Dave?
No, that's Razorblade Tears.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Blacktop Wasteland.
Yeah. No, I haven't read
the new one.
Celeste?
Not yet, no.
There you go. It's very good.
I've heard
Alright.
good things, but I haven't read anything yet.
I could say, not because I've read it, because I've got it, but I've read the previous book he wrote. So, Friday Black. I can't remember the guy's name. It's a It's a very African name. There's 4 words that I'd have to look at to pronounce. But it's a book called Chain Gang All Stars. And there's been lots of press about it. But the first book I read by him, short story book, is really good. And it's like using science fiction conventions to tackle racism. You know, it's one of those. He's a British black author, and really good. So Chain Gang All Stars is probably really good because that other book I read by him is really good. So that's quite new. I think it's like a Running Man kind of thing, but with black prison population. I think so. It's kind of like got that sort of race element, which I think is quite a fresh take on it.
Cool. I haven't heard of that. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Did you do a review of that?
No, I haven't read it yet. I've only read the previous one, so that's another one on my list I need to get to as soon as I can.
Okay.
I'll read it after Cage of Souls. But Celeste, have you read anything that's been out recently that
No, I'm terrible with keeping up with the new stuff. That's the problem with BookTube. There are too many good recommendations.
there's so much out there.
Most of them are
Yeah.
older. So, yeah.
Yeah, I was waiting for Mike to say I don't even read new stuff.
It's true. Well, I'm on this stupid challenge and will be for the next 4 or 5 years, so I can't read new stuff. It's all old stuff.
That's true. He's going to, was it 5,000 books before you buy a new one, isn't it?
Mike,
Something
what are you
like
going to
that,
do about Mike? What are you going to do about the new Savage Sword of Conan when it comes out in February?
Oh, I'm going to have to beg the lady of the manor to buy that for me.
Oh, okay. let me know if she won't.
She might
Oh, I
not.
see what
You
that
never
means.
know.
That's an insight into Mike's process. So basically, every week he gives her a list of books to buy, and he's got this steady stream of books coming in, and he's not actually bought a book. I see.
Yeah.
Very
You
clever.
don't,
Mike.
you don't know the lay of the manor. I don't think that would fly too well.
Right. Al says, "What's the ETA on the Fourth Wing?"
I pre-ordered it. It's one of the fancy copies that has the different edging, extra 2 chapters in it. And I was supposed to get it November 7th. They sent me an email saying that we don't know when we're going to get this book. So I was actually checking my phone earlier today, and I have to go on my desktop to confirm it now. So it's all messed up, but I don't have it in my hands yet. I'm supposed to read it this month, and time's ticking.
My daughter just picked up she went to Barnes and Noble and got like special holiday edition of it.
There's
I don't know if
so
that's what
many different editions. It's insane.
Yeah.
I get why they do it, but can't we just have one copy of the book? Isn't that good enough?
Yeah. She just blew through it in like 2 days.
Good.
Found
That gives me hope.
Yeah.
Al said, "I know, Big Al. Big Al's here."
Wow.
He said, "Slow reading is a curse." It certainly is. Brandy is around. She might be popping in later. So say hi to Brandy.
Hi.
Hey, Brandy.
Hey, Randy.
Long time no talk.
Yeah. Good Time's probably the only modern book I would put on my top 10. And Ted Chiang. Ted Chiang.
Mm.
I tell you what, I love the 2 Ted Chiang books so much that I have to slap myself in the face when I see the books in a shop and go, "Oh, get them." You go, "No, you don't need to get them. You have them." But I get so excited when I see them on the shelf. those 2 books are amazing. Who's read Ted Chiang in our little?
I have, yeah.
Mm-mm.
I love Ted
I haven't
Chiang.
read Ted Chiang yet.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. If I see something, if I see one of the books for a couple of quid, I'll spend £25 to send it over to you.
Oh, nice.
I'm lying. I won't do that. That's a ridiculous thing to do.
I know you won't.
Oh, nice.
Kev says I'm reading Hyperion for the first time. Oh, there we go. Yeah, Hyperion's a
That's
classic.
That's a top 10 book for me.
Hmm.
Love Hyperion.
Brilliant. That is a really good book. Children of Time. Yeah. Ta-chang! Ta-chang! Oh, that's not going. Ta-chang! I'm sorry, Ted. That sounds like I'm taking the piss out of your name. I'm not doing that. Simmons is the shite.
Kevin
Just to
Smith.
clarify, that word "the" is really important there. You read that really quickly. You go, "Oh, Al doesn't like that." Oh, here we go. Everyone's reading Hyperion. Oh, different Dan Simmons stuff. So is Dan Simmons a one-hit wonder, or is all of his stuff good?
No, a lot of his stuff is good.
Carrion Comfort was really good. That's a really good weird vampire book that I like.
Okay. Fred says, still loving the Kindle Scribe to MJ?
Yes, I read it every day. Annotation, notes, list making. If you read a PDF ARC, you can write directly over the text and make notes and scribble marks and everything. I have not one bad thing to say about this except the price. That's it. Fantastic.
Cool.
Grab it every single day.
How much is
Right.
it?
Oh,
Right there.
wow. You've
Well,
got a different MJ appeared.
The what?
So a different MJ's appeared on there.
We have another MJ?
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's I'm in two universes at once. You know, there's parallel universes in my world. So, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Scribe, highly recommend. And I say, if you can't afford it and the deal is calling you, get it. If you don't like it, send it back in 30 days. Get your money back.
Black
I
Friday.
think right now it's on sale. To like today,
Yeah.
it's on sale.
Yeah, I think on Friday it was like $300 for
Wow.
US. I don't know what it is in Canada right now, but it wasn't like it was much more reasonable than when I bought it.
Fred says the 64 gigabytes currently 389. I think that says.
That's I mean, it's 64. If you think you need 64, I got the 32 and I'm like not even I haven't filled it like at all. So if you need the 64, get the 64, but 32 is fine.
Yeah, I have like 400. This is an 8 gig, and I have like 400 books on here, and it's not even halfway
Yeah.
full. So yeah.
Yeah, you can save a lot of money just by going down to the next level.
I got a question from Big Al. Yellow Masterworks cover or black Masterworks cover? I am biased because my favorite color is yellow. So yeah, I'm happy with yellow. I think the black ones look like they look like a lot of other books. I think yellow is quite unique that
I
style.
like the yellow because I like the yellow because they're easy to spot
Hmm.
on the shelves.
Yeah. Oh, science fiction book. Yeah. What do you think, Mike? Yellow, black, or neither? I think you got stuck. Celeste,
Black,
do you read?
always.
I don't know how much. Oh, hold on. What's that?
His dial-up is acting up again.
Yeah. Is it black? Did you say? I think you said black.
It's Roger.
I heard black.
I had black. Yeah, we go with black. Celeste, do you read much science fiction?
Not really, no. I usually stick to horror, maybe speculative fiction sometimes, but not really sci-fi. I want to though.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. Do you kind of wonder where to start, or do you know where to start but just haven't got around to it yet? Or
Oh, I would not know where to start at all.
I'm gonna grab a book. Hold on.
yeah,
Where should I start?
I love short stories as a place to start, but that's just
I
me.
think that's a good shout.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is a fantastic series. This is book 2, but it's The Future is Female. And it's all
Ooh.
science fiction written by female authors put out by the Library of America. I think there's 2 volumes, possibly 3, but this one goes 25 science fiction stories by women. And this is from let me see, Pulp Pioneers to Ursula Le Guin. So we're covering certain decades. So this is 1928 up through 1969. Fantastic. And I mean, look at that cover. That cover is amazing.
Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah,
And there's another one on there's a sister to this as well, but fantastic place to start. That's where I'd recommend.
Okay. I heard of that one by name, but I haven't read it.
Yeah.
I tell you what, another thing you could do, because I think Scott's absolutely right about short stories, and Ted Chiang. Ted Chiang's a good place to start. Ted Chiang. But also, I think if you are a horror reader, why not read science fiction horror?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Because that's obviously a really good blend, and it will have the stuff that you're used to seeing, plus it will be on a space station or something, or just the setting will be different.
Love, Death, and Robots has some really good science fiction horror as well, like the Netflix show. It has some amazing science fiction horror in it. It's great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm more lenient to watching sci-fi than I would be to reading it.
Yeah, because Alistair Reynolds has an episode that he wrote that is on Love, Death, and Robots, the series. It was actually based on a short story he wrote. I cannot remember the name of it. I never can, but it's so good. It's in the first season.
Yeah, is it the one about the android?
No, it's the one about the man who is caught in a space state, who gets caught in a space station, and he's not sure if it's the future or the past or what. He runs into one of his girlfriends. Yeah, it's really cool.
There's
I'll try to get the name.
There's a very current author that. Sorry, go ahead, Gareth.
No, go on.
Somebody pretty current that's doing sci-fi horror, like real sci-fi horror is I think it's S.A. Barnes. So she just did a book called Dead Silence that was pretty good. That's very popular, and she's coming out with a new one right now called Ghost Ship, and that's her whole thing is like horror sci-fi.
Cool.
Yeah, I've just read Dead Silence, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
All right, I'll add it to the list.
Or you could do a classic, not that I love this one, but like, like H.G. Wells and Invisible Man, right? That would be
yeah, I guess I read that one. I guess that would count as sci-fi. I think there are things that were sci-fi 50 plus years ago that now just seem obsolete, so I wouldn't even consider them sci-fi anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess H.G. Wells, definitely read a bunch of his books.
Yeah, it's called Beyond the Aquila Rift.
Okay.
Matt just said it in the chat, so yeah. That's
cool.
Got it.
Yeah. So I'd love to know how you find that. If you do, if you get it into your schedule and you do try some stuff, it'd be really cool do a video on it. My first, journey into sci-fi, whatever. It'd be cool. So Brandy says both yellow and black. Clearly, Brandy can afford to buy 2 copies of every book. Doesn't seem to have gone down too much. It looks like Al might have a stomach problem at the minute.
Oh, it was talking about the scribe.
Kevin says, I read Frankenstein for the first time last week and loved it. Read Middlemarch and hated it. Yeah, there's no mad science in Middlemarch, is there?
Middlemarch is a white whale for me. One of these years I'll read it.
I nearly did the white whale video, and I was going to talk about the fact that I've had Catch-22 for ages. And I'd like to read it, but I don't know. I just keep putting it off. What do you guys think of Catch-22?
Keep putting it off too.
It was good. You should read.
Yeah. Okay. Mike says go. Mike says yes.
Mm.
I still use my old Kindle Fire.
I have one of those too that I still use.
These devices probably last a number of years, don't they? So it's fair enough,
Yeah.
isn't it? You shouldn't need to replace them a lot, should you?
Yeah, you would think so, but I'm pretty sure it was either Silence of the Lambs or Chasing Amy. It was one of those two movies that they,
Chasing Amy.
yeah,
Wow.
Kevin Smith film.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm actually on a. I'm going to need to spend a couple of hours looking through the HMV racks, because what I'd like to do is put on the Christmas list Blu-rays. So I've got rid of tons of DVDs,
Mhm.
and I really love special editions with like loads of extra features, documentaries, commentaries, stuff like that. So I want to sort of bulk up my Blu-ray collection a bit. So I need to have a look around for that. And obviously Criterion editions are awesome, aren't they? And there's a new one of Freaks apparently that I definitely want the one of Freaks.
Yeah, actually, our Barnes and Noble is having a 50% off all Criterion collection right now. So
Mm.
they're anywhere from $15 to $30 right now, which is a bargain on those. 'Cause
That's
they,
cool.
I'm sort of
they are-
surprised they still hear that stuff.
Oh, Barnes
There's
and Noble.
still a market out there, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems like physical
Yeah.
media is just disappearing everywhere.
Mm.
Well, that's what's weird though, because it's kind of everyone's thinking it is, but then you get these other people that go, "Isn't it great the vinyls come back? Isn't it great to see these come back? Isn't it, isn't it great that there's all these editions, special editions coming out of this film or that film?" So it might be just one of those things that it's definitely not as much as it was, but it's still a viable thing,
Mhm.
Well, I
Maybe.
hope so.
Yeah, me too. Celeste, do you buy films?
No, I mooch off my dad's Netflix. But I really want to get Criterion, but they don't have it here in France, sadly.
Oh, the
No,
Criterion
Criterion
channel.
just-
The Criterion channel.
Yeah, they don't have it over here. Not yet, I hope anyway. But yeah, I usually go either Netflix or just whatever DVDs we have lying around, but those are typically French classics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
That
that's
we
the other
got
thing
back
that
today.
you don't get, because I was watching a guy talk about why he collects DVDs and Blu-rays earlier. Actually, it's quite an interesting video, and one of the things he said, the streaming services don't show a lot of foreign films,
Yeah.
and that's true, isn't it? That's the reason to buy DVDs, just to have the films that you want to watch.
Yeah.
You can't. Not everything's on the streaming services, and people sometimes they just rely on those, then they're missing out on all sorts of other things that they could watch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's really infuriating though how everything's a streaming service now. Like you can't just get one movie or
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you'll even go on
Go on.
Amazon Prime. You'll even go on Amazon Prime, and it's like, this is available, but only if you subscribe to Shudder, or only if you
Mhm.
subscribe to Showtime.
Right.
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. We've got that over here. Yeah, or you can watch a film, and if they haven't got it, it'll cost you a tenner.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I'll buy it then. It's not really much of an option. Yeah.
Hey guys,
I
I
think-
gotta cut out, so I'll see you guys later.
Bye,
Thank you
MK.
so much, Mike, for coming in.
Bye.
I'm actually gonna have to leave too. I was supposed to be on for an hour, and I've been an hour and a half, so they might be mad at me, but I'll have to take off.
I know.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get going soon too because it's already 9:30 here.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Celeste. It's been awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Chat with
thank
you.
you so much for having me. I'll be back with a
Thank-
better voice next time.
Yeah. Get well soon.
Thank you.
Feel better.
Bye.
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 We'll go through some comments, but I know that there's a couple of people. Well, there's at least Brandy that's been waiting to come on. But I think Matt's around as well, and he was going to come on, so we'll have a look, see what's going on. So where are we? So William says hello.
Hello.
Hi, William.
Hello.
Hey, William.
And,
How long ago was that?
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, true. It's a funny thing, isn't it? Because obviously we need to chat, but we also need to read the comments. So juggling act. So I left a Subterranean Press edition of an Alistair Reynolds collection on my dashboard, and the heat from the sun. Oh no!
Oh,
Ouch!
that
That's
hurt.
like the film version of what we were talking about with the books when you put them in a bag and take it out and go, what happened there? I rebalanced some of my old books, turned old paperbacks to hardcovers. Wow, that's
Cool.
great. We could do that. Definitely, that's brilliant.
I love watching videos about that.
Yeah. There's a guy I watch. I always watch his videos, and I'll even watch stuff where he's talking about books I don't read. He's a guy called Jules Burt. Do you guys watch him? He's a collector. Well, he's not. He's a collector, but he's also he's someone who sells as well. On but he's got a crazy collection. He buys. He talks about. He's collecting. He talks about the numbers. So it'd be like, this is Pan edition 362. So he'll tell you that he's got 363 missing. So he's looking for that. He won't even care what the author is. He's one of those. But he spends a while fixing books in his videos as well, and it's quite interesting seeing how he does it. And Jules Burt is an interesting one to watch.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to have to get out of here too, Gareth.
All right, Scott. Thank you so much for popping in.
Yeah,
All right, see you, Scott.
everybody. Thank you for having me. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you. It's been awesome.
Yeah.
So
Talk to you all later.
thanks, Scott. Scott will be back himself next week, won't he? Which is very cool, isn't it?
Yeah, Thursday.
Yeah. Kevin says, I pushed through Middlemarch by George Eliot only because everyone I know loved it. I don't think I'll ever retry it. Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? You hear about what you should read, or at least you get persuaded that you might like it, and it doesn't always work. So this is a while back, isn't it? When I DNF, I do it quickly, never half finish a book. Yeah, I mean, it's a risk, though, because sometimes books save themselves by the end, don't they? So I think that's true as well.
My issue is I'm such a slow reader that once I'm invested, I'm like, I invested all this time in it already, and I then I have to finish it. That's why I can never DNF. That Female Man, Gareth, that was really. Hey, Brandy.
What's up?
Hi, Brandy.
I have my ear buds just in case you get that.
She's
feedback.
ready.
She's ready to go.
Oh, every time I watch that video, I'm like, oh my god, I bet nobody watched that. It's just awful to see it, but there we go. It doesn't seem to be a problem today, which is great. But yeah, sorry, what was you going to say about Female Man?
No, that was a really rare one. That, and I had moral support for the DNF, so that one.
Well, sometimes if a book's boring, that's one thing, but it was irritating, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was very, very annoying.
It just seemed like she was just trying to be too clever for her own good. It's like, just tell me the story, man. Tell me the story. But I will hopefully read it. So Chris Beveridge says, I just discovered nutritional yeast. I'm psyched. I think that's a band. Nutritional yeast are awesome. They're great new wave bands. Nutritional yeast. Have you heard the Have you heard the new album, MJ?
I have this album. I have the collection, and it's wonderful on steamed broccoli. It tastes like cheesy broccoli without the cheese. It's delicious.
Cheesy Broccoli was the title track, wasn't it, of the album?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I'm really pleased for you, Chris. That's awesome. I love the fact that we could be your vessel for sharing that great news.
Expand our horizons.
Yeah, nutritional yeast. I'm sorry, but it is a good band name.
It does the body good.
There's a very short story called The Disease Collector by Tom Jolly in the new edition of Analog. Oh, cool. I'm glad that's still going. I didn't even know that was still going. Did you know that's still going, Brandy? Do you buy Analog?
Every now and then. I don't buy it a lot because what happens is I buy one, I read one story, I put it aside in favor of my books, and then I never get back to it. So just once in a while, I'll buy one.
I get this is something you guys can tell me if this is a stupid idea or not. And maybe after I say this publicly, I'll have to do it, so I won't have any choice. But support Amnesty International. So every month we pay money, and one of the things that I get is this newsletter thing. And I was thinking, because I don't really read it, but I might have to read it if I do a thing where every month I'll go through it on the channel. So I talk about, you know, some of the campaigns they've been doing, some of the political prisoners around the world, some of the things that, like, articles that are in the magazine, that kind of thing. Do you think that's interesting?
I think it's interesting.
Yeah.
But will
Well-
the audience think it's interesting? I don't know.
Don't know.
I'm
Let's talk.
going to be honest. I would not find that interesting, but just because it was you, Gareth, I'd probably watch one.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just to see what
Brandy.
you say.
I bet you say that to all the boys.
What would be really cool? What would be really cool is if you could tie it into something bookish, you know.
Right. Okay.
If there's, you know, a parallel story, if there's something that, you know, just something that ties to the country, to the issue, to whatever, I think that would be awesome.
But the last issue was all about Palestine, as you can probably imagine.
Oh, yeah.
So it'd be quite easy to link that with Noam Chomsky or something. But yeah. Yeah. Okay. Food for thought. Jim's here. Hi everyone. I can't stay on to watch the whole live stream, but just want to say hi. Cool. Thanks, mate.
Hello.
Thanks. That's great to hear. Hasn't Jim got the most amazing voice? You're like, hello.
Is he a booktube channel?
Oh yeah. Check him out. He reads like mystery and crime a lot.
Oh, okay.
But he's got this incredible. You'll love his voice, Brandy. You'll just watch it for his voice.
Yeah, definitely could be a narrator.
Yeah,
A
definitely.
narrator.
Well, that's why I watch Mark, you know, for his voice.
My friend says that. She says, "Oh, I like watching Mark because I really like his voice." So
Yeah.
Mark definitely he could be a spoken word actor as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Muksadir? Or is that? Oh, no, probably Ali's first, isn't it? It's Ali's first. Hello, Ali. Yeah, that was answering that question for ages. Matt's around. Yeah, he has the code, so we may see a public appearance from Matt. So I don't know. Catherine 2 is hilarious, especially if you've served in the middle. Okay, I haven't, but what attracts me to it is that it's an anti-war book, and I'm interested from that perspective. But that's cool. Chris says, that's good. I'm glad he didn't just think I was taking the piss out of his nutritional yeast thing, and he's joining in. So that's cool. Ultimate Spinach. Thanks, Chris. Kevin, the Criterion now has a dedicated streaming service in which you can access all their collections. Oh, that's interesting. Did I know that? No, I didn't know that.
I think
That's
everybody's got a streaming service now.
Yeah, I think MJ's got one.
I need to get one. Booktube streaming.
Something for your planning this life channel.
That's right.
Yeah. Naples 44 is a way cool book by Norman Lewis. Okay. I wonder if that's a reference to Catch-22. That might be another like reference to war, like an account of war, maybe. And Mr. CD-ROM. Oh yeah.
Oh, remember floppy disks? Am I aging myself?
Yeah. No, are you
the
talking about the
big
real
floppy
floppy
disks?
disks? Yeah. Those
Mhm.
real pretty ones. Yeah.
Mhm.
You're
And
really
then
dating
you
us.
put them in the right way.
Yeah.
And then the smaller ones, I found two. I was going through boxes and I'm like, oh, I could use them as posters.
Yeah, I found my little hard disks. I still have 2 boxes of little hard disks, and I thought, you know, there's stuff on here. I wonder if I could come up with a drive to like put that in. Do they still sell those even?
I'm sure you could buy something. I'm sure.
Yeah. Or there might be a service that can translate them, because obviously that's a thing. Things that are harder to get. Sometimes someone will say, well, I can do that as my business or whatever. There's a place down the road that can transfer video to DVD or to digital files. I had last Christmas, actually, it was last Christmas, I as a special present for my wife, I transferred video footage of our Italian holiday in 2000 and what is it? No, 1998 actually. No, 2000. The year 2000. So 23 years ago. It was about 2 hours of footage that we had. So we were there for 2 weeks, and our daughter Jess was only 5. So it was really special. And then I just went down the road and asked him if he'd do it, and he said, yeah, it's like, what was it, a tenner for each hour or something like that. So it was good price.
So is it tenners at like 10 pounds?
Yeah, £10. Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know what that is in dollars. Is that like $15 or something?
Somewhere around there.
Probably like 13.
Yeah. So yeah, it was quite. I thought the price was quite good, and there's a lovely moment because literally also, it was a big family holiday, so there was actually 16 of us. So when we had this big gathering on Boxing Day, everyone wanted to see the footage, so all their kids were in it as well, and
Nice.
that was really cool. But that was a holiday where I smacked my head open, and I had to go to a hospital in Italy. This is a bit gross, but we went swimming out onto these caves. I think it was Goa. So there's a place in Italy called Goa, and we swam out to these caves, and we went up into the cave, and I, like an idiot, just stood up, and yeah, the stalactites just went into my head, into my skull. And there was a huge flap of skin that was it was horrible. And I was like, it was a great moment because I was sort of like, I was obviously in pain, and I had my eyes shut. I was like, like that. And then my 2 brother-in-laws were in front of me, and I just looked at them. I said, "Am I bleeding?" And they went, "Look down, Gareth." And there was blood everywhere, all over my body. In seconds, it was just horrific. And then we had to swim back to then get to the hospital. So I was worried that I'd be swimming while I was bleeding, so therefore it could bleed more. And it's just a weird
ocean.
Yeah, we were in the ocean. Yeah. So the caves were like out.
I'd be scared of sharks.
Well, it's funny because one of my brother-in-laws, we swam and we got to the shore where I stood up and everyone could see I was bleeding loads, and my daughter was there and she was really freaked out. And then my brother-in-law decided to freak everyone else out by shouting, "Shark!"
Oh,
so everyone was like,
that's awful. Oh, no.
This just turned into a horror special.
Yeah.
You have to put a rating on this video.
Hey, like Dave, last time we got all sexy, didn't we? Now it's a horror thing. So different genre at each stream.
Oh my god!
But it was really weird going to the hospital and getting this very serious treatment, and I had no idea what they were saying. There was just loads of Italian doctors and nurses wandering around talking to each other and messing around my head. Well, I was like, "What are you all saying? I don't understand any of it." It's really weird, And also when we got to the shore, the lifeguard or whatever saw us, and they put me against this wall, and they were looking at it, and they called the ambulance, and then again, I didn't know what they were going to do. I didn't know where they were going. It's just weird, So yeah. That video has the aftermath of that, because there's like a weird kind of cloth thing on my head from where I had the stitches and stuff. So you can see. Yeah. Anyway. Does anyone else have
any serious injury stories that they want to share?
No.
Okay. Killed that one, didn't it? Alex says The Phoenix Exultant by John C. Wright. So that's another recommendation, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Chris says, and remember, God gave rock and roll to you, put in the soul of everyone. What a song. God gave rock and roll. Can I just say, though, Paul Stanley, terrible voice. Moving on. Catch 22 is truly a laugh out loud read. Okay. Oh. Laughter is important, I think. Brian, got to go. Promise to put up Christmas lights. He's not going to see us say hello because he probably went about an hour ago. But bye, Brian. Hopefully you'll see this on the rewind. And he says, Sunburn by Jeffrey Carver, Earth Ascendant by Sean Williams, The Stone Within. Cool. So these are possibly, maybe in a minute, confirm when I get to you, confirm if these are anti-war recommendations. It could be that. I'm not sure, but that's cool. Aaron says, I like the film. Alan Arkin's awesome, isn't he? So, yeah. I saw the film a long time ago, which is why I think if I read the book now, it would be really fresh. I can't
Who's
remember.
Alan Arkin?
He
actor?
was.
What else was he in?
I'm just trying to think.
You would know him to see him, Brandy.
Did he play the granddad in oh God, what's it called? It's such a brilliant film.
I'm gonna Google him.
The film where they're in that yellow bus and there's a family and they're trying to get the girl to the pageant.
Oh, the sunshine.
Oh, something about sunshine or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little Miss Sunshine.
Little Miss
Little Miss
Sunshine.
Yeah, Little Miss Sunshine. Yeah, I love that film.
Okay.
Isn't he the granddad in that?
Yeah, he's been in a lot. He was in Edward Scissorhands. He was in, I think he played the father.
Right.
He was in, let's see, I'm trying to get the more popular ones.
Was he the first Clouseau as well? In Shot in the Dark. Is that Alan Arkin?
Maybe. He was in Marley and Me. He was in the Rocketeer. Remember the Rocketeer?
I never saw that one.
Let's see.
Oh, there we go.
Time.
We've got people joining in. Yeah, Little Miss Sunshine. Such a great film.
Mm-hmm.
And Mother Night. Oh, I've actually caught up in the messages. That's pretty cool. So yeah, no, I love Little Miss Sunshine. It's one of my favorite films.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know him to see him for sure.
Yeah. He's got quite a sour. Doesn't he? I've got an image of him being a psychiatrist for somebody like Robert De Niro or Billy Crystal. One of those two. Is it Robert De Niro? Is it? There's a film where he's a gangster and he's got a psychiatrist and it's like a comedy. And isn't he like a
I don't know.
therapist?
Don't
I think
know.
so. Maybe someone in the chat can confirm this. But anyway, Brandy, we haven't asked you what you've been reading.
Oh, well, I'm still working on The Howling. For whatever reason, it's taken me all month to get through that. I'm still only halfway through.
Oh, okay.
I love that.
I just finished The Blue Lagoon, which when I was a kid, I absolutely loved The Blue Lagoon. I saw it a bunch of times, and it's a book. It was based on a book. So I just finished the book. That was really good. I gave that 5 stars. I loved it. Trying to think what else I read. I don't know. I've read about 5 or 6 books this month, but I can't think of what all they are. My memory isn't that good.
Has any of you
I
free?
read all the Practical Magic books. I think I
Say
finished
again?
that last one at the beginning of the month.
Practical Magic.
Yeah, there's like 4 books in it. I think the last one spilled over into November, but I can't remember for sure.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Has anyone been reading any non-fiction because of the non-fiction November?
I haven't read any nonfiction this month.
I don't think I've read any. Well, I'm reading one now, but I don't think I finished anything. And I should because
You
it's
read
not finished in November.
Yeah.
You read a few in Garb August, didn't you? You read was it the Britney Spears one you read in Garb August, or was that later?
No, that was last month. Yeah, that was October.
I don't know if Scott, when he was on, did he talk about reading Dragon's Egg?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I did. Yeah,
He talked that up so much, and he compared it to Hal Clement, which I'm a Hal girl, and so I started that this morning. I was like, well, I got to read that now. So
I wrote it down.
This morning.
Mhm. I wrote it down because I can't buy books, so I'm just like making a list of all the books I want to read. So I always have my list near me.
Good plan.
Yeah.
I'm Someone's just said that they think it's stand-up guys that I'm talking about, but it's not. It's definitely not stand-up guys. So I'm gonna try and figure out what that film is because he's gonna end up bugging me. So
Leave the World Behind. That's one of the books I finished this month.
Leave the World Behind. Who's that by?
Yeah. Didn't like it. It was fine, but it was not. I don't think the author was very good at making his story very clear. So.
What kind of story was it?
Well, it's about this couple who rented a house for vacation. And I think the second night they're on vacation, the owners of the house show up and they think something has happened. Something dramatic has happened. And something dramatic did happen, but the author never really tells you what has happened. And I don't want to say what was said any more than that, because if somebody wants to read the book, it would spoil it for them. But it starts out kind of seeming like it might be a thriller, and then it turns into this big mystery, and then it just turns into kind of horse crap.
Yeah, we've got it is Analyze This. That's the one I was trying to think of. So if it's not Alan Arkin, then I'm not sure. It might be Billy Crystal. It might be that Robert De Niro was talking to Billy Crystal. That might be what it was.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, it's a very funny film. I think it might even be Harold Ramis that directed it. I'm not sure, but yeah.
Oh, I love him.
Yeah, I think it might be. But yeah, it's a really good film. I remember the Robert De Niro bit. I was going to look it up, but I need to because Aaron's asked it for me. And yeah, he's not sure it was Arkin, so just rang a bell. William says I've got a 5-book haul from Amazon arriving on 7th. Awesome.
Lucky.
Nice.
Yeah, we can only be jealous at the moment.
Yep.
Fred said this has been great. Oh, bye, Fred. Thanks a lot.
See you,
Bye,
Fred.
Fred. Well, he's probably already gone now.
Yeah.
I'm remembering. This is going to drive me crazy now. I'm remembering Arkin in a very funny, sarcastic role, and I can't remember. I was just looking at this list, and it's not. I can't remember what movie it was.
He wasn't in MASH or anything, right? Like the movie.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Although he'd be good at playing Radar, but I don't think he.
Oh, speaking of MASH, I picked up that book, and I think it was a book first, but I picked up the book for like 99 cents through from Amazon. And so I picked up that, and then I picked up a nonfiction book by a nurse who served in Vietnam. And so I'm gonna read those back to back and try to do a video about it. Of course, we'll see if that ever materializes. But I'm gonna try.
Well, that's awesome. That's a really good way of doing it, isn't it? Looking at a fictional kind of satire, if you like, comedy account, and compare it to an actual real life non-fiction account. That's cool. Yeah.
I thought it would be a good read to read those back to back. So.
And a good excuse to do a video.
Yeah, if I'm gonna try. I mean, I plan to, but I'm such a terrible booktuber.
Oh, I've made a decision, NJ, about Vlogmas.
Not gonna do it.
Well, I was really tempted. I kept thinking about what I could do for it. I was going to do a song a day, and then I just thought about it, and I thought that's not really what Vlogmas is. When I watch other people doing Vlogmas, they're like putting up decorations and they're going to go shopping, and
you can do whatever you want. It's your
Well,
Vlogmas.
it looks
Vlogmas
like
is just doing it for 25 days straight. That's all.
I don't
God,
know.
a video 25 days in a row.
Yep.
I could not do it.
You said they could all be shorts, right?
Oh my
You did
god.
all shorts. Yeah. Last year I did shorts of all my dog. Holiday shorts. People loved it.
Yeah.
Interesting. I suppose I could do it if I didn't do long ones and I didn't bother to edit them and I didn't do a thumbnail. If I just posted it up there, I could probably do it.
Well, yeah, maybe it would get you back in the swing of doing videos. I don't know.
I'll tell you what, I started 1 month in and I did Vlogmas. It was the best trial by fire I ever had. I learned so much during that month. Yeah.
Good for you. That's
All right.
great.
Olive's got to say goodbye. Mama's taking her for a walk.
Okay.
Oh.
Bye, Olive. Thanks for keeping Dave straight in line.
So yeah, Aaron's for tomorrow. I don't know if you guys remember me talking about it.
I love that. That's great.
Oh, today. I didn't even notice that straight away. Yeah. But that's a really good book. So I raved about that on my channel. I read it in like 2 days, and it's quite a big book. So yeah, that was brilliant.
I think I have that book on my shelf, and I started it, and then I wasn't interested, or I wasn't in the right mood, so I put it back on the shelf. I think it's the same one. In the beginning of it, does it start out with a guy who's like getting ready in his apartment or something, and something happens, and he goes back in time? Does that sound right? Okay.
No, that's not. No.
Okay.
It's not about time travel.
Okay. I think this one was about time travel.
Right. Now this is two people that knew each other when they were young end up reuniting randomly, and then they start writing games together, and then they develop a gaming company, and it's kind of about their friendship.
Yeah, it's definitely not that book.
But yeah, the writing's really good, and you do get you feel like you know them backwards. It's very good. But time travel is always awesome, though, isn't it? So
yeah, I like time travel themes. I will tell you, I like thrillers. I don't know if you guys read thrillers. I haven't done Dave's channel long enough to know. I'm not sure. MJ, you read thrillers, don't you?
So. Not really.
And then
Little.
Gareth, I don't think I've seen you read too many thrillers.
depends what you mean by thriller, because I read a lot more crime now than I used to.
Well, not like crime, like thrillers where, there's some big mystery, and it's usually some domestic situation, and there's usually murder involved. But I like thrillers, but there are so few really good thrillers. And the last 2 months, I've read like 5 books that were categorized as thrillers that weren't really thrillers. So like now there's like this new problem where not only is it hard to find good thrillers, but now we're getting a bunch of books that are being categorized as thrillers that aren't. And so I just wondered if any other thriller readers have had this problem. It's really starting to bug me. I'm about to give up on thrillers.
So how would you define a thriller? Because that might help people to make comments.
Okay, so like Pretty Little Wife, that's a thriller. The Woman in the Window is a thriller. What else? No Exit is a thriller.
I love that one.
Oh, I liked that book quite a bit, but I hated the very, very end. The very, very end, like the epilogue, because like the ending of the book makes you think one thing, and then the epilogue, you realize that that's not actually what happened, and I was furious. And I was like, way to ruin the book. So kind of a suspense Somebody's
thing.
life is in danger usually. Like somebody thinks that some weird stuff is going on, and they either think their life is in danger or their life is in danger, and then there's usually like some climactic confrontational moment. Like that's a thriller.
I have that one series that I don't know how many books they're in now. I think one of them is called Stillwater Lake. It's all books based on some type of like a Rebecca. No, not Rebecca, but it's based on some type of like a water element. And it's the wife, and she's married, and she doesn't realize she's married to a serial killer, and then just like every single book follows this path. I think I was 2 books in, and I have the 3rd one, but I haven't touched it. But that was it. But I recommend the first 2. They're pretty good.
I haven't read that yet, but it sounds really good.
Let me see if I can find it.
What was that? What was that film that Ben Affleck was in about the woman who Rosamund Pike played her, who disappeared, and then it was all like a mystery about, and like the film kept changing the plot, like twists and turns and stuff. Which one? Gone Girl. That's a thriller, isn't it? Gone Girl.
Oh, yeah. I haven't read that one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a.
I hated that book. I hated that book with a passion.
Did you?
Awful.
Wow.
Terrible. People rave about it. I'm reading it and I'm like, this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever read in my entire life. Like, it's not even doing anything for me. And then I went to go see the movie and I'm like, well, at least I got to go see Ben Affleck. At least that was good. But the book, thumbs down.
Good.
Awful. Awful.
Okay, well, because I'm right though, right? Like, you'd call that a thriller, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically.
Ruth
I mean, I've
Ware
just
writes
done one-
thrillers too.
Say again.
Ruth Ware, she writes thrillers. She wrote a really
Yeah.
good one called The Death of Mrs. Westaway that I absolutely loved. It was so good. Then
I
I read
remember
another
that
one.
one.
Did you like it?
No, I read oh gosh, I don't think it was Ruth Ware. No, I'm confusing authors, but I remember when that one came out, a lot of people were talking about it.
Oh, it was so good. And I read another one of her books. I can't remember the title, but it was not good. And so I'm going to give her a third try. I've got another one of hers called The Woman in Cabin 10. So I'm going to try that one. And if I like it too, then I'll retry more of her books. But if that one's not good, then I'm just going to figure Mrs. Westaway was a one-hit wonder and call it good.
There you go. Brandy, that book I was talking about is by Rachel Kane, and it's Still House Lake. That's the first. That's the
Okay,
first
yeah.
series.
I've
And
seen
the-
that one around.
Yeah, and they're like little potato chips. They're not that big. They're like maybe
Mhm.
275 pages, but it's good.
Okay, yeah, I will probably pick that one up because I've passed over that one several times thinking, should I try that?
Yeah, but then you're gonna see all the different books with water elements in the title.
Okay.
William says he reads dad books. Hold on.
What's a dad book?
So political espionage thrillers.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
right. Like Dan
Yeah.
Brown, right?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, see what he says. See which authors. Which authors do you mean, William? Because yeah, I mean that's obviously a very
David-
popular thing, isn't it?
Is there a David Silva author? Silva, Silva? I would think he would be like a dad book author. I think he writes espionage.
Okay. Yeah, there's been that Dr. November thing, isn't there, which I haven't taken part in, but that's all espionage, isn't it? Spy stuff.
Mhm.
Do you ever get tempted by that sort of thing, Dave?
Not really. I don't really read those kinds.
No.
I mean, not that I wouldn't. I guess I don't know. Not near the top of my list, but
I think that thrillers have a lot of female readers, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder why.
I don't know, but it just seems like the only people I ever see talking about them on BookTube are women. So, and like all the authors are either women or they're males who change their name to like a gender neutral name or to a female name.
Riley
So that-
Sager.
Yeah, like Riley Sager, and like there's several of those. The person who wrote The Woman in the Window, also a male who gave himself a gender neutral name.
Mhm.
So I think maybe it's the statistic is female mostly.
have you read many Riley Sagers?
I have read Home Before Dark, and that's the only one by Riley Sager I have read. I've heard bad things about his other books, so
Yeah.
I'm kind of nervous about trying him anymore.
I was
Yeah,
very excited. I was very excited to first read Riley Sager, and I got it on Book of the Month or something. And then the drama came out about who Riley Sager really is and why did he have that gender neutral name. And I'm like, don't know if I like
I don't
him.
know
What's the drama?
what was the drama.
Well,
Yeah, tell us.
basically, he changed his name so he could sell more books, so he would be gender neutral.
Oh,
So
they
I
all do
went,
that.
I went in thinking Riley Sager was a female. I'm like, okay, I'm going to support a
Yeah.
female author. Sounds good. Blah 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 blah. And then I felt like I got hoodwinked, and I'm
Uh-huh.
like, well, I don't know if I like that. I don't know if I like
Yeah.
that because it was kind of contrived. Like,
Right.
why do you have to do that?
Well, the publishers tell them to do that because the ones that are written by men with male author names don't sell as well.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's an old tradition,
If it's
isn't
a
it?
good
Like,
book,
the
I'm going to
opposite
read a
of-
good book.
Yeah, I
Well-
read an article about that. Like the publishers are telling them to do that, are saying you need to have a different name that's either female or gender neutral. Otherwise,
Yeah.
it won't sell. So
But there are old examples, like James Tiptree Jr. is a woman, and obviously George Eliot is, it's the same sort of thing, isn't it? So
Yeah.
mhm.
Andre
it's,
Norton.
Andre Norton. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
you felt like you've been tricked.
I did.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But that is why you bought the book, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
that's
no,
why
it
they
was-
that's
it
why
was-
they do it, right?
Well, it was a thriller and it sounded good, and then I said, "Oh, it's a female author. I'm going to support a female author." That's why.
Yeah.
So their trickery worked.
I've got one of their books, right? And I must have been. I think it was a charity shop. I think it was like 50p or something, but really good condition. But I knew that some people said it was that they weren't very good. But I thought, well, it's 50p. I could try it because people talked about it. I haven't read it, but it's got a
Was
very
it Riley
dark.
Sager?
It was Riley Sager, and it's like it was like a title like No Way Out or something, or or a title that suggested I'm being chased and it's late at night. That kind of.
So
Yeah.
lock every door.
There's a lot of those.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
So I picked up
yeah.
I picked up a couple of his books, just used because I've been meaning to try them. But the first one I was going to try, which I haven't yet, is Lock Every Door.
Oh
which
yeah.
everybody raves about, but I don't know. You guys are discouraging me.
Yeah, I don't know about Lock Every Door. I've heard good things about that one, but I'm just too. I don't know. I'm just too nervous to try any more of his books. I don't think I want to because there are lots of thrillers around for me to try.
Yeah.
Why do I want to take one that's got so much negative, naysaying about his books? So
Yeah.
Yeah. So William says that it's Richard Ludlam, Jeffrey Archer, and tried reading Tom Clancy, but didn't like the prose. Yeah, I don't know anything. Well, I know that Jeffrey Archer, as a politician, was a knob, but I don't know what he's like as an author.
well, we didn't know.
It's a no.
Yeah, he's a Tory. So yeah, he was a dick as a politician. Both English expressions that mean not a particularly nice person.
The English expressions are amongst the funniest in the world.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say.
Yeah, I think probably one time that we've chatted before, I've talked about if we're going to talk about English slang, I'd really love it when we're driving and my wife doesn't really get road rage much, but now and again she'll relatively quietly go, "You wazzock."
What's a wazzock? That's great.
Amazing. Wazzock.
That one.
Is that a curse
say-
word or what?
She didn't make it up. It's a common one, but it's just an awesome one, isn't it? Wazzock. Call someone a wazzock. So yeah, it's a means idiot, clearly.
Nice. I like that one. That's a good one.
So Ali says Weston Blair. Well, Blair's a very complicated one because he's basically a Tory in disguise, and he's an absolute knob as well.
What's a Tory?
Jeffrey Archer lived in Knobland as well, so he was a knob in Knobland.
What's a Tory, Gareth?
Tory's the nickname for the Conservative Party. So,
Okay.
the right wing over here. So not the
Gotcha.
far right, but the right to the centre. You got the three main parties over here. The Tories to the right. You got in the middle. You got the Liberal Party, and then you got the Labour Party on the left. Well, the Labour Party aren't particularly left. And then you've got the Green Party, which is more left. And to the right of the Tory Party, if they still exist, is UKIP, which are the ones that created the whole Brexit mess and are a bunch of tossers.
Tosser.
But I'm not going to tell you what I think about politics at all.
Okay.
But yeah, that's the way it works over here. So it's really, even though we've got lots of parties, it is a two-party system because more or less, I mean, there's you could say it's three because I suppose it does change sometimes. But usually when the Liberals get in, it's because they've made a coalition with someone. So it's usually Labour versus Tories, pretty much. But if we, I don't know if you guys know about the push for proportional representation. So some people believe that we should have proportional representation, which is different from what we have now. Because what we've had now, ever since the elections were about, we had first past the post, which is when it's a little bit like whoever wins. Whereas proportional representation is that across the country, a proportion of those votes will go into the House of Commons. So it's kind of fairer. And it does mean, because the lefties like me would like the Green Party to have a voice in Parliament, but it also means people like UKIP will also have a voice. So it's fine because obviously you've got both extremes. But at least it means you're not just getting the Tory voice in the House of Commons, which is what we've got now. And every election pretty much is either a Tory or someone like Tony Blair, who was a Tory but pretended he wasn't, So it's a funny system. It's not quite as bad as the US system, I think.
Well, I will say this: the one thing I don't know all of the ins and outs about the British political system because, man, that stuff is extremely involved. So, but like, I was pretty horrified to learn that you guys actually have political seats that are inherited from, like, passed down from generation to generation, like from your aristocratic class. And I was just like, I didn't even know that was a thing anymore.
No, there is still a class system, and the House of Lords is now a mix of those inherited positions, and someone can become a lord through what they've done in their life. So Alan Sugar, the guy that created the Apprentice thing, that Donald Trump did, the show The Apprentice.
Okay.
Alan Sugar started that, and he's a lord. So he didn't do that. He started off. He's started off working class. So it's a mix of different things that. But the House of Lords. I used to, when I was a lot younger, I used to be really passionate about getting rid of the House of Lords. But I think now I've realised that we're just stuck with the Tories forever. Then the House of Lords can be a buffer with. They'll bring out some, especially now that we haven't got the EU as well. Which the EU. One of the big things about the EU was that. If it was a European decision, so things like the minimum wage was created by the EU, and now we haven't got one because we left the EU. Things like that, and there was a big drive from the Brexit lot to try and get rid of the Human Rights Act that the EU did. Stuff like that's scary, and the House of Lords can act as a buffer, even though most of them are posh people who have never lived a normal life. It's that and the House of Commons together, those two chambers can have an influence on some crazy stuff that might come through. And obviously it goes without saying that the royalty don't do anything, because if they did, then people would go, oh, hold on a minute, that's not why we've got a royal family. So it's a really bizarre. That's another reason why there's a class system. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you looked at the way that things are run, they're literally just an advert, but a very expensive advert, But although people do say that they earn more money than they take, but that's a whole other debate.
I think there's such a thing as a really well-functioning political system. I don't think that exists. No matter what your system is, it's got some messed up stuff going on in it.
Yeah, I think I do. I'm a social democrat, so I absolutely believe in elections, and I believe that it can be improved. And I think that one day, I think it's very it's possible to get a better system. I think the problem is that people are so susceptible to the cult of personality that it's very difficult to get sensible stuff driven into the system, because people are just like, yeah, well, I love that guy because he's cool, which is what happened with Trump, and it is what happened with Nigel Farage, and it is what happened with Tony Blair as well, because Tony Blair got Labour into power after many years of no Labour, because everyone thought he was down to earth and was a cool guy, and they weren't really voting for Labour, they were voting for Tony Blair's version of Labour. So there's definitely this cult of personality that stops actual real possible progress from happening, so yeah, and I do know what you mean, but I do think, I don't know, I do try and be hopeful and positive and think,
I'm a
yeah.
cynic. I'm like, we're all going to hell in a handbasket. We're not going to make it.
I mean, I've got a lot more cynical after what happened to Jeremy Corbyn. So I absolutely love Jeremy Corbyn, and the way he was treated was horrific. And being for a man that's campaigned against racism all of his life, and then just got driven out of being a leader of the party for being called an anti-Semite, is insane. But it just shows you what the media can do and how gullible people are, and how awful it can be when the media don't want you to knock the Tories off the thing. And Labour were getting so popular, and it would have been a socialist Labourer as well, because he was a proper socialist. It would have been really interesting. And the manifesto they created, they paid for it in their manifesto. They said, this is how we're going to pay for all this stuff we're going to do. It could have been really interesting. And for a while, actual socialists were thinking, oh my God, the election might actually work for us. But they destroyed him, absolutely destroyed him. And so I am more cynical than I was, definitely. It feels like whatever you do, the powers that be, as in the media, will get the public against you, you know.
I just think there's always times where it's great for a while, then it sucks for a while, then it's great for a while, and you just want to live during the period when it's great for a while. And I kind of feel like the good period's coming to a close. So we're getting ready to go through hell, and I just hope it doesn't happen until I'm dead.
So do you guys think that like you're in a good position then in America at the moment?
I think we're in a precarious position.
Right.
We're in a very precarious position right now.
I think we're in a crossroads.
It is kind of scary. And you guys obviously have got a lot. America as a power has got a lot of power in it, and usually what Britain does is just sort of have a look around and go, oh, I'll go with them, you know. And usually with America, so yeah, if you have got a fantastically bizarre nutcase like Trump, then we're likely to go, yeah, we agree, we won't ruffle the feathers, you know.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think most of us in the United States, we don't talk about the politics, except for maybe with our family members or whatever, because you're likely to get into a stinking argument. You know what I mean? We just don't bring that stuff up a lot. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I know in my area, we don't talk about it a lot, especially because I'm a moderate who leans liberal and I live in a conservative area. So I just don't say anything. I'm just like, I don't want to get into all that. I don't care. I still like you as a human being. I don't care about your politics, and I'm just going to move along. So
yeah, for me, the family thing is more difficult than in general conversation, because the family is when you find out, oh, it turns out you're a racist. Didn't realize that, you know. Whereas when you're just chatting away with your friends, you don't normally find out your friend's dodgy, you know. But go on. What's that, Dave?
No, I was going to say that Brandy's right. That's true. You really veer. Things are so contentious in this country now, and they have been for a number of years, that you just steer away from even talking about it, which is really very, very problematic, you know, because when you can't even discuss things, that's how you end up.
Can't get it worked out. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, I'm just, I'll tell you, I'm generally conservative and typically vote conservative. But right now, when I'm watching, like if you look at our polls right now as of today and what's likely to happen during the next presidential election, and I'm saying this as a conservative, I can't believe it, because it's like half of the country has no clue like what just happened last year. It's stunning to me. It's absolutely stunning. And you know, you look back at history and you look at events like Hitler and you wonder, how did they possibly happen, right? We're talking about the majority of the German populace. Like, how did that happen? This is how it happens. Like, I worry that we are watching it happen, you know?
Yeah.
And I
exactly.
I'm like, did nobody watch like all these conservative witnesses? Did nobody watch hearings? Does nobody know what happened?
What Dave's talking about there is something that I think no matter what side of whatever fence you're on, I think everybody had like some shocking moments in the last few years. Like my shocking moment was when that, rush happened at the Capitol building. Like, it just never occurred to me that something like that would go down. And I remember thinking, this is the kind of stuff you see on TV happening in other countries right before everything goes to hell and their political system breaks down. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, now I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And like
But
that
that's why
concern
I'm
never went
saying.
away.
That's why I think, because you said you vote Conservative, but I think in previous, I'm in my 50s, so I've seen a bunch of different presidents, and even when the two Bushes and when Reagan was in power, there wasn't that sense that they weren't politicians, they weren't irresponsible, they were had just a different ideology to me, right? But they weren't going to risk like some sort of crazy declaration of war from someone because of just posturing or something. And that's the crazy thing with Trump, and why I imagine any sort of level-headed Republican as much as a Democrat would go, oh, hold on a minute, he's not the right guy because he doesn't know what he's doing. He's just saying shit and kind of threatening all sorts of things and posturing when that's not what politicians should be doing. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think that's the difference. It's not so much an ideology thing anymore. It's about, well, is this person an actual level-headed politician? Because I don't like Boris Johnson. I think it was crazy he was voted as a prime minister, but at least he's not unhinged. I think Trump is unhinged. That's what's scary.
Yeah, I think historically, whatever your politics, we've had a nice long run in this country of peaceful transitions of power, and whatever your politics is, all those guys you just mentioned, they all put democracy above the politics.
Yeah, exactly.
And
And
I
all of a
think
sudden, that's not what's happening.
for
Yeah.
the first time, we're seeing that not happening, and it's fright, and we're seeing half of the country buy into it, and it's frightening.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, democracy only works if everybody walks away from the table and nobody got everything they wanted. But that's not what they're trying to do. Now everybody's trying to get everything they want and trying to punishing the other side if they don't. So
Yeah. Let's get a few comments.
Look at what you started, Gareth.
I know.
yeah, Gareth, what the heck?
I can't remember what
Americans, we
happened.
don't talk about our
Who is this?
MJ's saying there going, Gareth, you're a naughty man. So William's saying he's been cynical for years. I mean, this is where it's bounced off. You do end up being more cynical, don't you? Oh, Jack's here. Hi, Jack. That's awesome. I imagine I think Jack agrees with me on a lot of this stuff.
Woo! Look out,
The
baby.
choice there for the rich. Yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely. That's the problem, that there is a class system and those guys make it worse. That's the bottom line for me. But I do think we're stuck with them. But it's interesting though, because I did say I blamed a lot of it on the media a minute ago, but the average person in Britain is a Conservative, is a Tory, and a Tory supporter. So it's not just about that. It's about the fact they don't trust. They don't trust the stuff that actually built the things that they love. I mean, the Tories would get rid of the NHS in a heartbeat, and you ask any average British person, it's the thing they love most about the country is the NHS.
I wish we had something like that over here.
Yeah.
National health
No,
care.
it's true. Yeah, national healthcare is so fundamental to our country, and it's been the last 20 years or so. It's been slowly bought off, so under everyone's noses, so they don't realize it's happening. There's little elements of hospital wards and medicine and things like that are getting sold into companies, and the official line is that we have an NHS, but it's a very different NHS than it was 40 years ago. And I think people love the NHS. They know it's important, and but it's a social democratic thing. It's a socialist thing. The idea of paying taxes and your taxes pay for social services. That's a socialist thing. And people are scared of that. They're scared of saying that. And it's a bit weird, because if they ran with that, you go, well, what else can we do? I think trains should be nationalized again. I just think if some of these things are the responsibility of the politicians, then they're not going to let them. They're going to want they're going to want the votes next time. Whereas if it's a companies don't give a toss. If it goes wrong, that's that's a massive overstatement, generalization, but you get what I mean. Anyway, you must like. I don't know who this Dr. Cornel West is. Would I like Dr. Cornel West?
Don't know.
I don't know who that is.
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay. I don't know who that is. I'd really liked AOC. I've forgotten her proper name. Remember AOC?
Acosta.
Latin American. Say again?
Is it Acosta?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. She was awesome. I was a failed politician. Oh, okay. So you went into politics for a bit. Okay. Ali says Democrats have divided the country.
Okay, let's not go there. Let's not place any blame here. We're all
Back-
in Switzerland.
back to the books.
Switzerland.
It's
Neutral.
all about books. We're all about books and dogs.
Yeah, and dogs. And cats.
I've got Ralph's been sitting there for ages, but I won't wake him. But he's been there, like asleep all the way through all this.
Watson's downstairs waiting for me. He's like, go ahead, Mom, do your thing.
And Olive's back. How's Olive doing? Okay.
Yeah, you have a good walk. You look
Say
like
heck
you're
yeah.
all tuckered out now.
Good. Well, guys,
Awesome.
I gotta go check on. I got a bird in the oven. We do Thanksgiving on the Sunday after Thanksgiving because we go someplace else. So we're having a little Thanksgiving meal here at home tonight.
Oh, nice.
Yes, I gotta go check on the bird's been in the oven. So I will say good night to everyone. Thank you,
All right,
Garrett.
guys.
It was so much
MJ,
fun.
I apologize for going political at the end. I will try and
That's
avoid that. in the future.
That's okay. You do you. It's your channel, buddy. All right. Goodbye to everybody in the comments. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Wait. Yeah. So what time is it with you guys? So my is about 9:30 for me, I think. Yeah, 9:30.
4:30
3:30
here.
for me.
All right, I'm not going 3 hours again, Gareth. I'm telling you that.
Yeah, no, it's cool. we can leave it out in a second. That's all good. So to be fair, I've got a few bits to do anyway, and I've got some prep to do for tomorrow. So it's been really cool though, hasn't it? It's been awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. Yeah.
And it's nice to get Mark Vaughan up, and Celeste was up, which was cool. Nice to
Yeah.
get a few different people.
That was a good turnout. Yeah, thanks for inviting us.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. I love chatting to you guys. And we've still got 11 people. I'll tell you what, we've had 11 people consistently for ages, which is great. So thanks, guys. We've got another comment from Kevin here. I work for local government. One of my duties is to raise and lower our flag. The number of mass shootings in America is horrific. Absolutely. He's the brains. Oh, okay. Dr. Cornel West is the brains behind AFC. Okay, fair enough. Cool. I will look up this Cornel West. And then Ali says thanks. We'll leave it there, guys. Thanks a million for chatting. It's been
Okay.
brilliant.
Bye,
See you
Dave.
later.
Bye, Gareth.
Bye,
Have a great
Brandy.
week.
Thanks.
Bye.